Friday edition, a fill-in-the-blank Friday edition of the Sam Bourquin Show. Well, it is good to be here today. Happy Friday, everybody. Looking for a great show today, a great weekend coming up. Hopefully the weather's going to cooperate. We got a lot of great sports to talk about. We're going to run the sports gamut today, right? We're going to talk baseball, obviously, Guards, Reds, Tito Francona. We'll talk a little Browns football today, more or less off the field stuff with the Browns, the city of Cleveland, Cuyahoga County. What a mess. What a mess. We'll get into that. We've got round 2 of the PGA Golf Championship going on at Quail Hollow today. We'll check the leaderboard throughout the afternoon. We've got the Preakness Stakes coming up tomorrow. We'll check on the latest odds and try to dole out a couple of winners for you today. We will check in on the Mount Union baseball team. They're in a regional action at home today against Catholic University. As a matter of fact, the last score that I saw, myself and John Bazika were kind of following along here. Mount Union led Catholic University 6-5. I think that was in the 5th or 6th inning. So lots of runs over at Rayfield Rogers today, and we will continue to update you on that as well. We also have, we'll take a little peek at some of the high school baseball, some of the teams that are really playing well right now. Jackson Alliance, a couple that come to mind. It is a fill-in-the-blank Friday. You can do that on Facebook, on Facebook and on X today. You can drop your comments as well, as you can see us here on the Q92 Radio Sports YouTube channel and Q92 Radio Facebook page. Our fill-in-the-blank Friday is, if you had $1 for every time you lost your blank, you would be rich. If you had $1 for every time you lost your blank, you would be rich. It's a fill-in-the-blank Friday, and we will read those comments throughout the show. We also have On This Day in Sports History, and we got some other goodies coming your way as well. Want to let you know that we have officially booked Aiden Longwell for next Monday. Aiden, former Massillon Tiger, Kent State Golden Flash. Now he is playing in the Colorado Rockies organization out in Seattle. And we will check in with Aiden Longwell coming up on Monday. And we will be talking landscape of college football. Todd Blackledge from NBC Sports will be joining us next Wednesday here on this show. So that's next week. We'll add to that, of course. But we got a big Friday edition for you today. Just kind of looking back at yesterday real quick. The Guardians were off NBA playoffs last night. Denver beat Oklahoma City 119-107. Guess what? We got a Game 7 coming up between the Thunder and the Nuggets, and that game will be in Oklahoma City. So the winner there will advance to play Minnesota in the Western Conference Finals. Also, Boston and New York tonight, 8 o'clock at Madison Square Garden. If the Knicks win, they will go to the Eastern Conference Finals against Indiana. Oh, if there's a Game 7, it'll be in Boston on Sunday. So we'll keep our eyes on that as well. We'll get those phone lines out there to you. 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. You can text the show, 330-924-7088. Text line is always available for you at 330-924-7088. Sammy B here, Ryan Rainsberg over there. All right. I'm going to put this up in front of the camera right now. Here's what we're working with today. Obviously, you can tell a little scratchy, a little stuffy today. Here's one thing we're on today. This is the what do they call that stuff for your antihistamine, for your sore throat, your dry this, that, and the other. So we got those. We got the handy dandy Halls relief for the sore throat. Okay, we got those going today, and we've got lots and lots of water. Here's the Buckeye cooler. We got that. And I don't know if we have any orange juice in the building, but if we do, I'm going to see if I can track it down. If not, maybe some kind soul will bring some in from a store. Who knows?
My smoothie has orange sherbet.
Oh,
so
but you've already.
No, it's there, but I don't think that counts.
It doesn't count.
It's orange flavored.
Hey,
but
I do want to shout out Sean Austin from the House of Spuds on Fulton Road. That's right over across from St. Michael's Church over there on Fulton Road. And he sent over some incredible, giant, unbelievable baked potatoes today. Also some lobster, cheese, and mac. So if you're hungry this afternoon, if you're hungry right now, or if you're looking for a little dinner later on tonight, House of Spuds on Fulton Road, right across from St. Michael's. Say hello to Sean and tell him we thoroughly enjoyed the spuds we had here today at 1310 WDPN. Okay. Yesterday, I meant to get to the anniversary of the perfect game by Lenny Barker. Had some issues getting some good audio. So I was able to retrieve that today. And my main issue was I wanted to have both calls of the perfect game. I wanted to have the radio call, which was Herb Score and Nev Chandler, and I wanted to have the TV call of Joe Tate and Bruce Drennan. I didn't want to do one without the other. We're actually trying to line up Bruce for the show. We just couldn't make that work. So I was able to get both, and we heard those both in the open today. So the anniversary of the perfect game yesterday, and every year I go back, I look at the box score. We all remember that Ernie Witt, who was batting 188, was the last batter in the game. He flew out to Rick Manning in center field, and he squeezed it, and the place went crazy. Everybody, and when I say everybody that you run into nowadays, or 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 30 years ago, say that they were there. Oh, I was at that perfect game Len Barker threw. I was there. I'm telling you, Sammy, I was there. Well, there were 7,127, I think, that were paid. I'm not even sure if there were 5,000 people in the yard that night. The weather was brutal. It was a foggy, chilly, misty. Imagine that. Cleveland Municipal Stadium in May. Foggy, misty, rainy. It was one of those nights. It actually started to rain a little bit, like 10 minutes before the game started. And there was like this mist that was there the whole game. You could see when they were panning the crowd, people had their, raincoats on and ponchos. And some people actually, I think you were allowed to take umbrellas in back in the day because people weren't thinking about using them as weapons like they are now. But there was only 7,100 people there. But if you listen to the audio, we'll play it again for you this afternoon a couple of times. Sounded like there was 30,000 people there. But what a great night. I'll never forget the perfect game by Lenny Barker. I got some great stories to tell you about that for my childhood, and I'm sure you've got some as well at 330-821-1310. Let's go to the telephones. You're on the Sam Bourquin Show on a Feel Good Friday. Who's this?
Oh, yes. My name is Julie Swint, and I got the answer to your blank question.
Okay. What do you got, Julie?
It's keys, like car keys, house keys.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
If you had, I'm going to play that. If I had $1 for every time I lost my car keys, I'd be rich. Yes.
Yes.
I think we all would be.
Yes.
So, I was going to change the question up before I actually settled on it. I was thinking about, should I phrase it if I had $1 for every time I lost or misplaced? Because sometimes when you lose something, Julie, you never find it again. You know what I mean? And then sometimes if you misplace it, oh, there it was. So I'm like, between losing things and misplacing things, I would probably have about a $10 million account in my bank because I lose everything.
Well, I tell you, your music is wonderful. I listen to it all the time. So
we appreciate that. Thanks, Julie. Have a great weekend. Okay. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah. Don't lose your keys again or your sunglasses. Or your whatever. We got some great responses already. Rob Steinberg says, if I had $1 every time I lost my mind, I'd be rich. Wayne says, if I had $1 for every time the Browns lost, I would be rich. Jason Johnson says, Sammy, it's sunglasses for me. I don't lose my sunglasses. I break them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I break them.
Yes.
Of course. Here's the caveat, though. My sunglasses are 99 cents.
Yes, exactly.
So
I only buy cheap ones because I know I'm going to break them.
So I don't care if I break them or lose them. Now, way back when I didn't care about finances and didn't care about repercussions, I'd go get the Oakley sunglasses or the real expensive Ray-Bans or whatever. Not anymore, man. It's whoever's got the 99-cent glasses on that little thing you spin around. You look in the mirror. Okay, those are good enough. I'll take them.
They look the same anyway.
Yeah, they do. And they're like the old Tom Cruise glasses.
Yeah.
What he wore in Risky Business.
The aviators.
Yeah. So I'll buy 5 or 6 pair of glasses. I know I'm going to break them or lose them. Who cares? I'll just go get some more later. But I'm telling you what. Sunglasses, car keys, wallet. A lot of times, like my driver's license or debit card will fall out of my wallet, which is why I've always said I'm not carrying a wallet anymore. Mm-hmm. There was no need to. Something else for me to lose. But my phone, constantly misplacing my phone. I've never truly lost it, but I misplace it all the time. A certain hat that I like to wear, never can find it. I'm like, how does this keep happening to me? What is going on? Fill in the blank Friday. If you had $1 for every time you lost your what, you would be rich. How does this keep happening to me? Hit us up. 330-821-1310. You can also text the show at 330-924-7088. So it's sunglasses for you, Brian. Anything else that you constantly are like, where did it go?
So I have the problem of I lose everything all the time. So I have a very, very specific places that I keep certain things, like my keys and my wallet. Because if I do not put them in the same place every time, I will lose them. And then I will be in a world of just not good stuff going on. No.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else I've been losing lately.
I've gotten better at it because I know I'm bad at it, so I have to keep myself in check. But when I was in school, I lost pencils, pens, all the time.
And yes, that is a great answer.
Yes,
pens and pencils all the time.
They walk off. They just leave on their own. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't wear reading glasses a lot. I carry them with me. I lose them all the time. Again, these are the old cheaters that you get. I think I paid like $15 for this, and like I think it came with a case. These things right here. So I'm always losing things, and it's so maddening. And you start to really question, okay, is this not just a phase in my life? Am I starting to have some kind of forgetful disease? Like I'm always losing stuff. And at first it's kind of funny. Oh, that's cute. That's Sam, that dummy. But you know what? When it happens so many times, you get annoyed, you get angry. I start cussing up a storm, like profane, laced tirades. And you're doing that, and of course somebody you don't want to hear you hears you and shakes their head and says, "Oh my God, what's the matter with that character?" I mean, wow. 330-821-1310. Let's go back to the phones here on this Friday. You're on the Sam Bourquin Show. Go ahead.
Hello, this is Ray.
Hey, Ray. How you doing, Ray? Where are you calling from, bud?
Canton. Down.
Hey, Ray.
By the pub. Going to get me some water. Anyway, I've learned since I'm using a cane to put it across the shopping cart instead of elongated. I've lost them 2-3 times.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah, but I got them back because I got a little smarter. I put an address label and I put my phone number on it.
Okay.
However, just 2 weeks ago I lost it. I thought, well, maybe I'll phone, but I won't say which one. I went up there 2 days ago, customer service. This is fine. I asked the girl, and she looked like she was about 14. But anyway, she went back there and brought my cane. There it is. So I said, oh, my God. And nobody called me. Said, what do you mean? It's the address label with the phone number. She says, well, maybe they know. She didn't say maybe. She says, nobody saw it. Good Lord.
Oh, my goodness. Ray, that's a great story.
You put something on a bulletin board, but nobody reads it.
I know. Wow. Well, that's a great idea, though, you come up with. Now, I hope you never lose that thing again.
Well, I keep one in the car.
He's got a spare. Ray, thanks for calling and listening. You have a great weekend, okay?
You too, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys all
right, we appreciate it. Thank you. There's Ray in Canton. That's funny. Yeah, you would think, like, okay, just for the sake of discussion here, and I'll use myself, there's so many things that I either lose or misplace. You would think after a certain time, like Ray figured out, hey, I'm going to do this, and that solves that problem. I haven't done that yet. I mean, how do you solve the problem of always misplacing things? People have told me, put your car keys around your belt loop. Clip them on your a belt loop or your pants loop or something. With glasses, they say, just put them on top of your head. Which, you know what happens then?
They fall off.
No.
No?
I forget they're up there.
Yes.
And I'm walking, hey, does anybody see my glasses?
Classic.
Or there'll be a certain hat I want to put on. And I'll be looking for it. I've got different spots in the house for it, different hooks, different rooms, baseball caps here, football here, basketball there. I can't. And I go, where in the, and my son will go, oh, it's on your head. You're wearing it. I mean, at that point, you just pack it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you kind of have to.
You have to finally just say, you know what? I lose. I give up.
Yeah, accept it. Acceptance is key.
Yeah, Doug Parton on Facebook. Sammy, every time if I lost my wallet, if I had a buck, every time I lost my wallet, I'd be rich. This might be the greatest one of the day. Joe Volpe says, Sam, if I had $1 for every time I lost an argument with my wife, I would be rich.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
That's good.
That's funny.
You might be right.
Joe, hope you're doing well. Gary Frascone, patrolling the streets, the mean streets of Jackson Township again today. Gary says, if I had $1 every time I lost my coffee mug, I would be rich. Gary, good to hear from you today as well. Rumor has it, Gary may have been out in the Belden Village area a couple of days ago witnessing that road rage. Rumor has it. I can neither confirm nor deny. I'm not 100% sure on that. All right, just a reminder, coming up at 3:35 today, we're going to check in with Ben Axelrod. He's done a lot of great stuff in the media over the years, Channel 3, digital content. He's now the editor for Awful Announcing on X. It is a great place to follow. He's going to join us. We're going to talk the landscape of Cleveland sports today, and we're going to dive into that Browns fight with Cuyahoga County and the city of Cleveland. We will talk PGA golf today. Our good buddy Jimmy Hanlin, PGA Golf Pro. Jimmy's going to join us this afternoon right around 4:15 and see what the big guys are doing at Quail Hollow in round 2 of the PGA Championship. In the meantime, we've got news, we've got weather, we got all the good stuff coming up here at the bottom of the hour, and we'll kick off the next half hour on the other side. Phones are open if you want to pop in today, 330-821-1310. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on a fill-in-the-blank Friday on AM 1310 WDPN. Stay with us, everybody.
Looking for a fun-filled way to celebrate the spring season? Head to SpringFest at Spring Hill Historic Home in Massillon this Saturday, May 17th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. This all-ages event is packed with something for everyone. Over 20 artisan and craft vendors, tasty eats from D3K Dogs and Boba Tea-licious, live music from the Canal Street Ramblers and Maddie Starr, plus crafts, games, and a scavenger hunt. Tour the historic 1821 farmhouse and don't miss the t-shirt printing bar by Sassy Mama Creative Designs. Shop unique finds from favorites like the Red Geranium, Molly B's Candle Company, A Wandering Palette, and Ebb the Creator, just to name a few. Admission is $10 for adults, $5 for youth ages 6 to 12, and free for kids 5 and under. Get your tickets now on Eventbrite. And your love of all things spring to Spring Hill Historic Home this Saturday, 11 to 4.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 3:30. President Trump claims that a nuclear deal with Iran is imminent and that a proposal from the U.S. is on the table. Trump made the comments today on Air Force One following his three-nation Mideast tour. More from ABC's Karen Travers, who is traveling with the president.
The president didn't give specifics to explain his optimism or details about what the proposal is that he said today the Iranians have from the United States. His special envoy, Steve Witkoff, has been leading these conversations. There have been 4 rounds of indirect talks between the United States and Iran in recent weeks. The last one happened on Sunday in Oman. It's not clear yet when the next one would take place, but the president expressing optimism that they're getting close.
11 inmates at the main prison facility in New Orleans have escaped, and officials are urging the public to be vigilant. The inmates escaped from the Orleans Justice Center, and that facility is on lockdown. Happened around 8:30 this morning when, during a routine head count, prison guards noticed the inmates missing. Officials say one was recaptured. The rest remain at large. Authorities say they should be considered armed and dangerous. At least one of the inmates has been charged with attempted murder. Republican infighting is threatening the GOP's plan to make the Trump tax cuts permanent and impose significant changes to Medicaid and other safety net programs. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has the latest from Washington.
Several Republicans say the big, beautiful bill still needs work. 5 of them voted against advancing the measure in the House Budget Committee. South Carolina's Ralph Norman says it doesn't cut enough.
I'm tired of smoking mirrors.
Further complicating matters for House Speaker Mike Johnson, GOP moderates opposed the bill, saying it doesn't do enough to restore the state and local tax deduction. Facing a self-imposed Memorial Day deadline for passage in the House, Johnson will need to achieve near unanimity in his conference to get the measure into the Senate. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Train engineers in New Jersey's huge commuter rail system are on strike, leaving its 350,000 daily riders either working from home or seeking other means to transit the state or cross the Hudson River into New York City. People who normally rely on New Jersey Transit took to buses, cars, taxis, and boats for the morning rush hour today after trains ground to a halt at a minute past midnight. Some left early to avoid problems. A few, unaware that the strike was underway, showed up and waited for trains that weren't going to arrive. Early indications were that the strike hadn't resulted in major traffic jams or long lines to get on buses. Today's rail commute is typically the lightest of the week. It's 78 degrees in Alliance at 3:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's Mark Johnson's forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
It's going to be warm, a little muggy as well. 83 degrees for the high with isolated thunderstorms by late afternoon. Overnight, scattered thunderstorms are likely. Grab that umbrella. Our low, 62. I am RJ Weather. Have a great Friday.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
We're back, 1310 WDPN, streaming live at AM 1310. WDPN.com. Sam Bourquin with you until 6 o'clock tonight. Phones are open, 330-821-1310. Ben Axelrod from Awful Announcing is going to be joining us here in just a few minutes. Okay, from Mount Union today, Purple Raiders softball team, I believe, went down to defeat in their first game today. Salisbury 5, Mount Union 3. Raiders will now take on the winner of Pfeiffer and Westminster in an elimination game today at 4 p.m. Still, I don't know why it's so hard to find updates on the baseball game, but apparently it is. Last I saw was 6-5 Mount Union over Catholic University. That was in the 5th inning over at Rayfield Rogers Field. So we'll try to track down some score updates on that. I got to check the OAC app, a couple other places, and nothing. So as soon as we get some updates on there for the ballpark, we'll be sure to get those along to you. Don't forget, a little bit later on today, on this day in sports history, and we'll take another look back, a couple of looks back here throughout the afternoon on yesterday, this day in history with the perfect game thrown by Lenny Barker. All right, 330-821-1310. Also, don't forget, Jimmy Hanlin is going to be joining us about 4:40 today to take a look at round 2 and rounds 3 and 4 of the PGA Championship going on at Clearwater. Right now, we're going to go to the WDPN hotline from Awful Announcing. The editor-in-chief, Ben Axelrod, joins us here on the Sam Bourquin Show on this fill-in-the-blank Friday. Ben, happy Friday, bud. How are you this afternoon?
I'm doing well. I thought you said Jimmy Haslam there. Some of my Browns cake.
I'll tell you what, you've been on fire on X, man, the last couple of days. I've been thoroughly enjoying a lot of the tweets there, or the X's, or whatever they call it now. I got so many things I want to go through with you, and I guess the first we'll since you mentioned Haslam, let's start with the Browns, and I'm going to pretty much carry this off of the field, if it's okay. Between the city, Cuyahoga County, the football team, it just seems like a big melting pot of shenanigans going on right now. Where does this sit? You're pretty close to the situation. From your eyes, where do we sit now as far as the stadium, the proposed stadium in Brook Park, the city, the county, the mayor? What exactly is going on behind the curtain?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've largely been in the same place for the better part of the last year, if not longer, as far as what's actually happening. I think that, it's been pretty clear now for at least since I'd say last August that the Browns have their sights set on Brook Park. And now it's just a matter of everybody involved, whether that's the team, whether that's the Cleveland politicians, whether that's the Cuyahoga County politicians, kind of posturing for how they're going to make this happen and how they're going to deal with the fallout. So, I mean, as far as like what people actually care about and where the Browns are going to be playing come 2028, I fully expect it will be Brook Park. I fully expect that they're going to move forward with this stadium and get some sort of deal done with the city. But right now it's just a matter of what that deal looks like and how everybody can kind of spin it to whether it's the Browns fan base or the Cuyahoga County constituents at this point.
Ben, I know there's no such thing as a guarantee or a lock, but is it pretty well assumed that the $600 million is going to be there from the state?
I think so.
Okay.
I think that when you look at Roger Goodell going there and the influence that he has, and then I think that Mike DeWine wants to get this done. Governor DeWine does. It's just a matter of where the funding is going to come from, whether it's sin tax or gambling tax or however they get it done. But I think, I have a hard time imagining that the Browns and the Haslams would be pushing this so hard if they weren't relatively confident that they're going to get the money one way or another that they think they need to make this happen.
Ben, if I just happened to bump into you up on the streets in downtown and said, "Hey, man, Dome Stadium or renovate," what would you tell me?
My personal opinion at this point would be renovate. I think that I do value the idea of the Browns playing in Cleveland. I know that, there's a lot of teams. I would say, probably at least a third of the league plays in, technically doesn't play in the city that maybe they have on their jersey or that they have on their name. But I do think there is value in the Cleveland Browns being in Cleveland. I do think that it's meaningful for the city as somebody who used to live down there, live downtown, and has seen the impact that it can have. I think that renovation has been lacking, whether it's the stadium itself or the area around the stadium, which is really kind of devoid of bars and restaurants and places that you can go before or after the game. But my personal preference, all things being equal, which in these situations they rarely are, would be for the Browns to remain in downtown Cleveland.
I've been on the fence. I've been on the left side, the right side. I've been sitting right in the middle of the last several months thinking, because I'm an outdoor, give me the grass, give me the elements kind of guy. And then I got suckered into watching all these videos and that beautiful, sparkling dome. And I'm thinking, oh God, that looks pretty good. And then I'm thinking, okay, how are they gonna work the traffic? How's the parking going to be? Are they really going to be able to put all this real estate and developments and hotels and stuff around there? And then I think about, well, you know what, downtown. And I know it's always been, there is no possible way they can put a roof on that thing. That's what I keep hearing. And maybe that's true. I don't know. We put a man on the moon. We've done a lot of things. It probably all comes down to cost. But in a perfect world for me, number one, figure out a way to get people in and out of the stadium easier with the traffic, because it is atrocious. The parking is atrocious. But if you could figure that out and just build it up, if you can get a retractable roof, fine. If not, that's okay. The place is not that old. It wasn't done at a very high level because they had to rush it. But I think I'm still going to fall on let's do this thing downtown. Let's fix it up.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because you mentioned the traffic and all of that as far as the Browns games. Like, I wonder if when they do this in Brook Park, presumably, like, how are people going to have flights on Sundays? Like, how are you going to get to the airport on a Sunday? That just seems totally, regardless of what you do with the traffic patterns. I mean, when the Browns play in Cleveland, like, that shuts down all of downtown because it's so busy. I don't know how you could do that and also have a high functioning airport right next door. But it's funny, you mentioned the roof. I actually had the opposite effect. Or the opposite reaction. I was all for the roof initially. I was like, let's go. It's modern football 2025. Let's get a roof. And then they played that snow game against the Steelers last season during a 3-14 season, and just like the beautiful pictures, the beautiful images, the probably, that and the win over the Ravens right after Jimmy Donovan's passing are the only positive memories from last season. And, to lose that in Cleveland, to lose the ability to have a snow game, that actually did resonate with me in a way that it hasn't before.
Yeah, there are some places in the NFL now, Ben, that they play in domes, and I'm like, why do you need what is it? Is it Tennessee that's building a brand new thing? They're putting a roof on it. Buffalo is actually going to stay outdoors, no roof in their new stadium that's well underway. But some places, I just don't get why you would want to go inside, because let's face it, September, even October, it's still pretty nice weather in Northeast Ohio. Every once in a while, maybe in November it gets a little goofy, but I don't know. I just, of course, I'm not the one sitting on it most of the time anyway, but maybe it's just because I like watching it that way from TV. But when I do go to the stadium, and maybe it might be in the 40s or whatever, I don't mind. I don't mind it one bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's you're signing up for Cleveland Browns football. I think a lot of people take pride in the ability, whether it's the players themselves or the fans, to kind of weather the elements. You're definitely taking that aspect of it out of the entire experience with the roof.
So when do you think we might see the shovel go into the ground and all the politicians lined up with hard hats and with a big giant scissors cutting a ribbon in Brook Park? Any timetable on that at all? A good guess?
I mean, the state budget, I believe, is due June 30th, toward the end of June. And so that feels like the big domino to fall. I would expect, if that passes and the Browns get the funding that they're looking for here, I would imagine that would set things pretty quickly into motion, especially, in terms of negotiating with the city. I do expect some sort of settlement over all of this stuff with the Modell law. And I would imagine, I don't really disparage the politicians for doing what they're doing, just in the sense that I do think, they're going to be left footing a bill here for stadium cleanup and destruction and all of that. Like, I don't think they should necessarily be left empty-handed. Not the politicians themselves, but more so the city. So I don't fault them for that, but I do expect they'll reach some sort of resolution. And once this budget gets passed and the funding is presumably there, then I think you'll see things kind of go boom, boom, boom.
Ben Axelrod is our guest. Check him out at Awful Announcing on X. A lot of great stuff up there. One more Browns thing, and we'll skip over to the Cavs and then the Guards. So if they make the move to Brook Park, they build the stadium, they have to take down the old place. Then what? What happens in that big giant space down there where the stadium is now?
That's the multi-million-dollar question, because they've been trying to figure that lakefront with or without the Brown Stadium for as long as I've known about Cleveland and lived up here. So I think they want to get something done. I mean, I think that they know that is a untapped resource for them, and that's something they can use to really build up downtown. I think when you look at what Dan Gilbert's doing on the other side of the city, closer to the arena and baseball stadium, and the renovations going on with the baseball stadium as well, like you can really see that side of the city starting to build up and freshen up. So I think they'd like to do something where they can connect the lakefront to greater downtown at large. But yeah, I mean, that's especially if they lose that stadium there, which all indications are they probably will. That's going to leave a pretty big void there on the waterfront, and you would expect they're going to look to do something other than just have it sit there and be an empty lot.
All right, let's skip over to the Cavs. Then we'll get to the guards before we wrap things up. Obviously, the season came to an end a couple of days ago. Disappointing, yes, 60-plus wins. You swept through the Miami Heat, and then the old mental/physical toughness, lack thereof, reared its ugly head again in the second round. What does this team need to do, Ben, to get out of the second round?
That's a great question as well. That's something I'm sure that Kobe Altman and Kenny Atkinson and Donovan Mitchell will be wrestling with for the better part of really the next year, really, because you look at the regular season, and I think it's going to be tough for a lot of Cavs fans, except for the ones who truly love basketball and truly love the X's and O's and all of that. It's going to be tough to invest in the regular season because we just saw a borderline historic regular season from a number standpoint. It was, almost the greatest regular season in Cavs history, just short of one of those LeBron years, and then they fizzled out in the playoffs, and it's another playoff disappointment. I think if you look at kind of this era since they acquired Donovan Mitchell, we've still yet to have a year where it didn't end in disappointment in terms of the playoffs. And so, I think the tricky part here is that you're kind of stuck with the roster that you have just because of the second apron restriction, the way the NBA CBA is configured. But I think there are some moves around the margins they could make. I do think that, Kobe Altman has been aggressive as a general manager. We saw that with the Donovan Mitchell trade. We saw that with them acquiring DeAndre Hunter at the trade deadline this past year. So I think there's moves in the margins that they can still make. It will be interesting to see how Ty Jerome's free agency plays out after that up and down playoffs that he experienced. But yeah, I mean, this is a team now, like the roster's kind of set, and now it's just a matter of a little bit like the Pacers have. Can you break through and can you take things to that next level where instead of losing in the second round, you're competing in the Eastern Conference Finals, and after that, hopefully the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I hate to even say the word, the phrase, it's a process, but Ben, it could be like this for another 2 or 3 years until they maybe, how the NBA is, you got to crawl before you walk before you run kind of deal. I mean, and you're right with I think we have an $8.5 million exemption we can use this year. Other than that, there is no wiggle room. And people have been telling me, hey, we got to move Allen, we got to move Garland. What can we get in return? This, that, and the other. I said, I just think you're constricted. You got to go with what you got.
Yeah, and that's, even the way the NBA is set up, like you trade a guy, you have to take a salary back. It's not like you can trade a guy and just free up $20 million in cap space and go and sign the free agent that you want to sign. So it's really the way this CBA was constructed after the last collective bargaining agreement. The way it was constructed was really kind of set to hurt teams like the Cavs who have,
of course,
four guys who they are paying high figure salaries to. And I think that's another interesting domino in all of this as well, is that I think next off season, regardless of if they win the finals or if they, fall short again or somewhere in between, they're going to have decisions to make because this CBA is really restrictive. It's really punitive as far as the repeater tax and what it would cost ownership and all of that. So I think this is kind of a make or break year for this roster one way or another. And I would expect that, if we're talking on May 16th, a year from now, that it's going to be a way different conversation than the one we're having now, just because of the moves this team will feel like it has to make to stay in line with the CBA and the salary cap.
Ben Axelrod is our guest. Check him out on X at Ben Axelrod, at Awful Announcing. He is the senior editor at Awful Announcing. Hey, just for fun, who wins the NBA title this year before we move on?
I am going to say the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Whoa, okay.
They are, they are one of, they're the only team in the Western Conference in the conference finals right now. I cannot pick between the Nuggets and the Thunder. That game's kind of a coin flip game for me. I don't feel great about any of the teams in the East right now. And, maybe I'm just rooting for it a little, but I think the idea of Anthony Edwards breaking through and winning a title and kind of establishing himself as the guy in the NBA moving forward, I think that would be a really fun storyline.
I agree. I think that would be a lot of fun. All right, on to the Guardians. They're in Cincinnati over the weekend. They've got the Reds. We're going to run into our old buddy Tito Francona down at Great American Ballpark. What's your take on the Guardians so far, Ben? They got 25 wins in their pocket. I think they've lost 17. They've been really good at home, a little bit less on the road. But your thoughts as we sit here May 16th?
Yeah, I mean, that kind of, you said their record, and that kind of sums it up. They're just kind of humming along. It's not, they haven't gone on some giant winning streak. They haven't, lost a bunch of games. Obviously, they have a winning record. They're right there in the hunt. So, like I said, May 16th, like that's as good as you could ask for right now, I think. And you hope that a little bit like the team did last year and some of the teams under Tito Francona did, they kind of hit their stride come June and July. But I think at this point, it's kind of that cliche that you can't really win a season in April and May, but you can certainly lose it. And I think that they've done enough to keep treading water and keep their heads above water. And I think they're right where they need to be to replicate last postseason's success.
I like where they're at too. The only thing that scares me, I shouldn't say scares me, but I'm like, ooh, got to keep. I don't think the Detroit Tigers are going anywhere. I mean, that is a good baseball team, and I think we're 3.5 out now, and we'll get into discussions about the wild card and this and that way down the road. But I think it might be tough maybe to catch Detroit this year.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely look like the top team in the American League Central right now. I know Minnesota's on a tear right now as well, so it's kind of shaping up to be a 3-team race there. But the good news is I don't know how many games they've had against Detroit yet, but they still have a lot ahead of them, I know, and so you'll get those head-to-head matchups, which really, I mean, we've seen with the Guardians and the Twins in recent years. Those go a long way towards shaping these divisional races. But yeah, I mean, Detroit, we saw it last year in the postseason. I mean, they took the Guardians to the brink, and they're building on that as well. So I think that's kind of, it feels like it's been the Guardians and the Twins the last few years, and like I said, the Twins are right there still as well. But it really feels like the Tigers have officially announced themselves as an American League Central contender for the foreseeable future.
The pitching staff, which, I mean, you never know year to year, whether your bullpen, your starters, your middle relief guys. What do you think is the biggest need for improvement on this team? Is it somewhere in the pitching staff? Is it the power? Is it utility guys, bench guys? What would that be in your mind?
Yeah, I'm kind of still in this mode with the Guardians where I just always trust the pitching to come together, because that's what we've seen. And obviously, they've had some disappointments this season, the way the Tristan McKenzie situation played out, and Gavin Williams has been kind of up and down when I think a lot of people were counting on him to really kind of have a breakthrough year and join Bybee as far as, the top of the rotation. But I just feel like this team can never get enough bats. I think you look at a guy like Joe Kenzie Noel this year, and a lot of people are counting on him to break through, and he really hasn't done that. You have gotten what you were looking for out of Manzardo. And so, they're loaded in the middle of the infield, both in terms of what they have at the major league level and what they still have waiting for them in the minor league system. But I just think, this is an organization, and especially as a mid-market team, you can never have enough bats. So whatever they could do to continue to shore up the order, that's you saw what Lane Thomas injected a year ago. I think a move like that, would really go a long way, more than anything.
Now, I have not been to the ballpark yet this year, and I was only there a couple times last year, and that was early in the season. I haven't been able to enjoy and see a lot of the renovations and a lot of the newness of the park. What's it like now for somebody who hasn't been to the stadium for a couple of years, some of the improvements? What's it like, and how does it look top to bottom?
I think they've done a really nice job. I think it's funny, we were talking about the Browns a few minutes ago, and they were kind of built, that stadium in 1999 was kind of built in this weird period for football stadiums. But the originally Jacobs Field and now Progressive Field was just built in this heyday for beautiful modern stadiums that have really sustained over time. And I think that what they've done, has kept the integrity of all that intact, but it's also modernized it, and it's given you the social areas, the bars, the restaurants. I have 2 young kids. They have a lot of play areas that I can not only take them to play at, but also still watch the games. So that's always nice. But I think I've really kind of been blown away with the way they've threaded the needle of, like I said, keeping the tradition and what everybody loves about that stadium intact while also updating it and keeping with the times. I think they've done a really, really bang-up job.
I couldn't agree more. I can't wait to get up there this summer and check it out in person. Ben Axelrod, check him out on X, at Ben Axelrod, also senior editor at Awful Announcing. A lot of good content up there. Make sure you go to X and check him out. Ben, I appreciate you coming on. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you soon down the road.
Hey, this was a blast. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Ben Axelrod. Check him out. It's a lot of good stuff there up on X. It's Axelrod, Axelrod, at Ben Axelrod on X. I was going to give him the fill-in-the-blank Friday thing, and guess what? I forgot. Imagine that. 3:55 here on a Friday. We'll take a break and come back. It's the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN.
Music and intelligence for your life.
No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
I'm John Tesh, and we couldn't be happier about bringing you intelligence for your life every day. We have a room full of researchers gathering the information and ideas you need to make your life simpler and better, and to make you the smartest person in the room. Join me for Music and Intelligence for Your Life, 10 to 3, Monday through Saturday, only on AM 1310 WDPN.
You heard it on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as 1 day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
With love I will build a wonderful thing that makes this life better for you and for me.
For 100 years and counting, Shriners Hospitals for Children has been creating wonderful opportunities for children in need. This life-changing medical care helps them do the things they've always dreamed of.
Shriners Hospitals for Children has done so much for me and so many other kids.
I can dance.
I can play games with my friends.
Because of Shriners Hospitals for Children, I have no limits, and I'm doing more than what I ever thought possible.
To find out more about how children in need are being helped every day, go to loveshriners.org today.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Thanks again for Ben Axelrod from At Awful Announcing for joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, talking about a lot of the landscape of Cleveland sports, the Browns Stadium, Guards, Cavs, good stuff. Appreciate Ben coming on. Hey, it's a fill-in-the-blank Friday. Today's question is, and it might drive you nuts. It drives me nuts because I keep thinking of different things that I lose. If I had $1 for every time I lost my blank, I would be rich. Good stuff coming in. Doug says my wallet. Mark says every time I lose my thoughts. That's a good one. David Coleman, every time I lose my keys. Scotty D, he says if I had $1 for every time I lost my horse racing form, I'd be a rich man. No doubt about that. Christy Midas says every time I lose my glasses and phone. Yeah. She says actually her glasses and phone. Oh, it's a tie between losing her phone, excuse me, and losing her glasses. So that's our fill in the blank Friday question of the day. Drop your comments on Facebook, on X. And of course, if you're listening and watching, hello everybody, as we wave to you on the Q92 Radio Facebook page and Q92 YouTube channel. Hey, we got the news coming up here at the top of the hour. And also, we've got your weather. Don't forget, we're talking some PGA golf coming up. Jimmy Hanlin will join us early in the next hour. We'll talk a little golf. We'll get you on the phones, and we got a lot more stuff coming your way as well. Keep it right here, 1310 WDPN.
An important part of the Alliance community since 1953. You're listening to AM 1310, WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Former FBI Director James Comey under investigation by the Secret Service for a social media post showing a picture of a shell formation in the number 8647. The White House called it a threat to the president. ABC's Jack Date has more.
He took down that photo shortly after it started blowing up on the internet with allies of the president, people close to him, interpreting that photo of the shells on the beach as some sort of threat. And he replaced that with a statement saying that he posted the photo, understanding that it was a political message, but he says that he didn't really understand that some might see this as called or associated with violence.
The president returning from his 4-day trip to the Middle East and says the U.S. and Iran nuclear talks are getting closer to a deal, Iran disputing the president's optimism. A manhunt continues in New Orleans after a jailbreak today. Authorities say 11 suspects being held escaped. One escapee, though, has already been captured. This is ABC News.
The best day for great deals on everything for summer is one day, as in the Macy's One Day Sale. Find the best prices of the month on summer essentials, from men's tees from Champion and more for $12.99 to $500 off diamond studs, now just $199.99. Even 5-piece luggage sets for your next getaway, now $69.99, less than a cab to the airport. And you can earn rewards fast start during Star Money bonus days. It's a day unlike any other. The Macy's One Day Sale, today. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Memorial Day savings are here at the Home Depot. So take your kitchen to the next level with up to 35% off, plus up to an extra $450 off select appliances like LG. Plan your get-togethers with an LG refrigerator you can count on for years to come at the Home Depot. And with the connected ThinQ app, you'll know if the door is left open and when to change the filter. Spend less time worrying this Memorial Day with savings on LG, America's most reliable appliance brand at the Home Depot. Offer valid May 15th through June 4th, U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:02. This news is a service of Cars Auto Repair. Jackson Township Police say a third-grade student brought a loaded gun to school today. Officers responded to Sauter Elementary around 12:30 for a report of a student with a .45 caliber firearm in his book bag. Another student had told a resource officer he confronted the third grader and took the gun. Police say the boy had made threats against another student and the resource officer. It's not clear if he will face charges. Police continue to investigate. The Stark County Coroner's Office is investigating the death of an inmate at the county jail. 33-year-old Zachary Snowberger of Canton was found unresponsive in his cell May 8th. Jail staff attempted to revive him, and he was taken to Mercy Hospital. Snowberger was later pronounced dead. An autopsy will be performed by the Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office. Snowberger was arrested May 7th on warrants charging him with failure to comply, aggravated drug possession, and obstructing official business. Jacob McDonald, the truck driver who triggered a fatal crash with a charter bus carrying band students from the Tusky Valley School District, has been convicted of 6 misdemeanor counts of vehicular homicide. He was cleared of more serious charges. The verdicts were delivered today at the bench trial overseen by Licking County Common Pleas Judge David Brandstool. The November 2023 chain reaction crash on I-70 killed 3 students on the bus and 3 adult chaperones in another vehicle. 18 other people were injured in the incident. The 61-year-old McDonald was found not guilty of 6 felony counts of aggravated vehicular homicide and 9 counts of vehicular assault. Brandstool determined the man's actions were not reckless. A man was shot in Canton Wednesday night. The 23-year-old victim drove himself to his Plain Township home, where deputies arrived and called an ambulance. He left Mercy Hospital against medical advice at 12:45 a.m., but was later taken to Akron General Medical Center. The man was wounded in the shoulder and hands. Shooting occurred at Nelson Place and Sylvan Court in the city around 9 p.m. A Stark County judge has sentenced a man for a 2-vehicle crash in Jackson Township. Stark County Common Pleas Judge Kristen Farmer handed 1 year in jail to 39-year-old Piyush Kumar Patel of Green Thursday. He pleaded guilty to charges of aggravated vehicular assault and OVI. The charges stemmed from an October collision. Patel was northbound on I-77 when his SUV rear-ended a vehicle and went off the roadway. The Highway Patrol said the second car went off the road, overturned, and rolled through a traffic sign post. Patel's blood alcohol level was .339. The 39-year-old Jackson Township man driving the second vehicle sustained serious injuries. A shooting in East Liverpool leaves one man dead and another in custody. Police responded to gunfire at Utah and Montrose streets just before 6:30 Thursday night. The victim, identified as James Powell, was found at the scene. According to WKBN-TV, Police Chief John Lane said the shooting appeared to be the result of a dispute over a woman. After receiving a tip, officers reportedly found Daniel Whitley of East Liverpool hiding under the porch of a home on Avondale Street. He was charged with murder. Bond was set at $1 million during his arraignment today. The Highway Patrol says an ATV crash that occurred Saturday night in Columbiana County has claimed a man's life. 41-year-old Jim Show of Wayne Township died Thursday of injuries suffered in the wreck. He was flown to St. Elizabeth Health Center in Youngstown after troopers found him on the ground at Steubenville Pike Road near Applegate Road. A lawsuit accusing the Wellsville Board of Education of violating the Open Meetings Act remains pending. Columbiana County Common Pleas Judge Scott Washam denied the board's motion to dismiss the case. He ruled against the board concerning meeting minutes not being detailed and minutes reflecting entry into executive session for an unapproved purpose. A pretrial hearing is scheduled for October 15th and a trial for October 29th. Brian Ames of Mogador filed the suit last year. The Columbiana, Crestview, East Liverpool, and United school boards settled similar suits brought by Ames. Other complaints are pending against Columbiana City Council and the Leetonia School Board. The Mahoning County Grand Jury has indicted a man on child sex charges. 54-year-old Michael Gay of Lowellville was charged Thursday with 2 counts of gross sexual imposition and 1 count each of importuning and disseminating matter harmful to juveniles. Details of the allegations were not available. Gay has been in the county jail since April 1st. He's being held on $125,000 bond. Warren police and the Trumbull County coroner are investigating the death of a man in the city this morning. Officers called to the 2100 block of Draper Street Southeast around 2:30 for gunfire, discovered a crashed vehicle. According to WFMJ-TV, a man was found dead at the scene. He has not been identified. A second person is charged with a felony in an animal cruelty case in Warren. 1 count of prohibitions concerning companion animals was filed against 53-year-old Stephanie Swagan of Warren today in Warren Municipal Court. 43-year-old Thomas Linecooler of Warren was charged with the same felony. He pleaded not guilty during his arraignment Tuesday. An emaciated dog suffering from a ruptured abdominal mass was found in the basement of an Oak Knoll Avenue Southeast home May 10th. It later died. Swagan and Linecooler lived at the address. It's 77 degrees and Alliance at 407. This is the local edition of WDPN News, a service of Cars Auto Repair. Cars with a K. Schedule your appointment today by calling 330-821-3100. I'm Jeff Mears.
Since 1996, Kale's Auto Repair Service, Cars with a K, has been the trusted auto repair shop in Alliance. With over 80 years of experience in Stark and Mahoning County, their team provides high-quality auto care and customer service. They offer a range of services from preventative maintenance to engine repair, AC service, and more. The shop features 10 bays, state-of-the-art diagnostic tools, and mechanics ready to get your car on the road again. They accept all makes and models, ensuring top-notch service for every vehicle. Open Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5 p.m. and Friday from 8 to 11 a.m. Schedule your appointment today by calling 330-821-3100.
Meteorologist Mark Johnson has the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
This WDPN weather is brought to you by Canterbury Villa of Alliance, where your loved ones become family. Schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000. Okay, not a lot of rain for your Friday afternoon. By late afternoon, could be a couple of storms. Otherwise, sunshine, a high warm, muggy 83. Overnight, scattered storms are likely. If you're going out and about, grab the umbrella. Our low in the lower 60s. I am Art J. Weather. Have a great Friday.
Send your loved ones to a place that cares and a place that they can trust. They'll find a place that feels like home at Canterbury Villa in Alliance. They will provide the highest level of care to their residents when it comes to skilled nursing, rehabilitation, long-term care, and Alzheimer's care. At Canterbury Villa, your loved ones become family. Located on Freshley Avenue, schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000 and ask for Samantha Nutter. At Canterbury Villa, they walk the talk.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page. the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Yeah, just do or die. It's what you live for. It's what you work your whole life for. It's either your dream continues or your dream ends. So you lay it all out there on the floor and live with the results. But I mean, I'm excited for the opportunity for sure.
Wind up, here it comes. Fly ball center field. Manning coming on, he's there. He catches it. Len Barker has pitched the no-hitter. A perfect game for Len Barker. And the stands erupt, the players go out. Len Barker being surrounded on the field. He has made baseball history here tonight.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Fly ball, center field. Manning is there. Got it! A perfect game for Lenny Barker.
They come to the top of the stretch, sees the gray, turning for home in front. Mystic Dan confronts him, catching Freedom, now right behind, and swinging to the outside. Sees the gray, is still there. Mystic Dan bearing down on the outside. Sees the gray, won't go away. Mystic Dan catching Freedom, moving down the center of the track. But Wade Lucas has done it. Sees the gray, wins the Breakdance.
It is a feel-good Friday here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Welcome in, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. Hope your weekend is off to an incredible start. We're with you until 6 o'clock tonight. Phones are open, 330-821-1310. Don't forget, you can always text the show at 330-924-7088. You can listen to us on the live stream, 1310wdpn.com, on X, our WDPN X page, our Facebook page. And, of course, you can always watch and listen on the Q92 Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel as well. Always lots of ways you can consume the product here on 1310 WDPN. All right, lots to get caught up on here. First of all, I want to thank Ben Axelrod from Awful Announcing for joining us in the first hour, talking about the pretty much the landscape of Cleveland sports. I want to thank Ben for joining us. The Guards and the Reds are going to battle this weekend down in Cincinnati tonight, tomorrow night, and Sunday. A 3-game series as Stephen Vogt hooks up with Tito Francona. That'll be cool. Watch those guys manage against each other. That'll be really fun. It is also a fill-in-the-blank Friday here on the program. And today's question is, if you had $1 for every time you lost your blank, you would be rich. Solid responses today coming all over social media. If you had $1 for every time you lost your blank, you would be rich. Let us know, or you can zip in a call at 330-821-1310. Car keys, wallet, phone seem to be the top 3. A lot of people are saying they're losing their minds. They lose great ideas. And there was one that I completely forgot. And we also mentioned people lose sunglasses a lot too. And I'm in a terrible place now where I lose stuff constantly. It's funny the first time, and then after like 10 or 11 times, it's just not funny anymore. Sunglasses, wallet, keys, cell phone. Like I'll think that I've gotten something out of the pantry or the refrigerator, and I'll look on the island and it's not there. Just constantly forgetting about where I place things. But there was one item I forgot to mention. I'm constantly losing chapstick. Anybody else always lose that? Drives me up the wall.
I leave it at home for that reason, Sam.
Unbelievable. So our fill-in-the-blank Friday question, if you had $1 for every time you lost your blank, you would be rich. So I'll read some of the responses as well. Again, thanks to Ben Axelrod for joining us in the hour. We'll get back into the Preakness Stakes coming up next hour. Quick update, Division III NCAA college baseball. Mount Union falls to Catholic University 11-10. The Purple Raiders scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th, had a chance to tie it, couldn't get it done. So they lose their opener. It's double elimination. If they lose one more, then they're going to be out. All right, hey, it's a beautiful day today, and hopefully it's a beautiful day at Quail Hollow as they're doing the PGA Golf Championship. It is round number 2, and we are very happy to bring in Jimmy Hanlin to the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN and Q92 Radio Sports. Jimmy, good afternoon, partner. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm good, Sam. How you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for coming on. Jimmy, of course, you can check him out on FanDuel Sports, the Yes Network, 18 Holes, Swing Clinic. Got a couple of real cool tracks at Little Mountain, Stonewater. And things good, my man? How's everything going for you?
Yeah, it's good when it's not raining in Northeast Ohio, right?
right.
So the sun's out. I feel like it might actually be golf season. So, yeah, it's exciting.
That's awesome. So before we get going with the PGA, I still find myself going down the YouTube rabbit hole and watching Rory get the job done and watching just his almost just his emotions on the course and everything. And where were you at when that happened? Did you think it was going to happen? And how do you think Rory does moving forward now that the proverbial monkey's off his back?
It's funny. I do think that, Rory is the most talented player, in golf at this point right now. Scotty Scheffler being right there behind him. But I think Rory, listen, I can say this because I'm a fellow Irishman. I think Rory struggles to control his emotions a little bit, and that's good and bad, right? I mean, I think in a good way and a bad way. He just struggles a little bit to really, in an intense situation, walk a little slower, breathe a little slower, and do that. And so once you do it once, obviously that is an advantage to know how it feels, so you can try to do it again. So do I think that solved all of Rory's problems? No. I think it's in his nature that's what it is. But I think at the end of the day, for him to do it once, it will definitely help having that feeling the next time he's coming down the stretch. And he better make some more birdies or he's not going to be doing it this week. For sure.
I know. I was sitting around. It was, we were watching it with my brother-in-law, father-in-law, some other people. And right away, they're like, oh, well, this is automatic now. He's going to go back there and he's going to win 2 or 3 or more. I'm like, people always say that, but it doesn't work out that way. And especially the way you're talking about how Rory is emotionally and things like that. It might be tough for him to win another one of those again. I'm not sure. But hey, the PGA, crazy leaderboard right now. A lot of names that may be unfamiliar with maybe just the average golf fan. But what have you seen so far in the first day and a half at Quail Hollow?
Yes, Sam, it's Friday afternoon. So I tell people, it's like watching an NBA game in the first
quarter.
You're just kind of like, you're just getting a feel for what's going on. And sure, there's some players that can play themselves out of it. But I don't think really you're winning any golf tournaments on Thursday and in the beginning of Friday. I just did see Rory make a couple birdies. I've been in and out of the clubhouse now. Obviously, with the first sunny day, we've been trying to take some advantage of having some golfers and shoot some content and do all that stuff here. So, but in general, I saw Rory make a couple birdies. I thought he was going to miss the cut. Now he's inside the cut line. I think he's at even par. But I think, you want to look at players and just – they're trying to jockey for position now, with the Preakness coming up. That's kind of my good tie-in there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're not winning the race right now. You're just trying to jockey for position. Put yourself in a position to have a chance to win. Scotty Scheffler's the best at that, right? You rarely see him play himself out of a golf tournament. He almost always keeps himself and gives himself an opportunity. It's the same thing he's doing right now. Last time I looked, he was 3 or 4 under par. He's not winning the golf tournament. He's not running away with it, but he's given himself an opportunity to stay in it. And so I think that's what you'll watch today. My biggest surprise, I'll be honest with you, Sam, is I was watching a little bit ago, watching Max Homa.
Yes.
Max Homa
he made a move
really
yes.
At Quail. Yeah, it plays really well at Quail Hollow. He's won there twice. And I'm like, and I'm sitting there and I'm doing my pulls, for the week. And I'm like, man, I can't pick Max. I was looking at his stats. I'm like, I can't pick Max Homa. He's like 100th in driving overall right now. He's putting terrible. His ball striking. Like, I can't do it, even though he plays good there. And then all of a sudden, look, he must have a good feel for this place because I think he's 4 or 5 under at this point right now. So, it's really funny how when majors just change just the whole total approach of players and what's going on or whatever. And I would have thought Max Homa would have missed the cut for sure, and he's right in the mix of it. So it's interesting to watch these guys and where they're at. And Johnny Vegas is obviously top of the leaderboard, but again, I tell people don't get too excited because Saturday and Sunday change the way that the ball rolls and how it bounces and how they breathe a little differently. So I think that leaderboard that you're talking about right now will be a little different in about, let's say 28 hours.
I'm sure. Jimmy Hanlin is our guest here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Jimmy, what kind of track is Quail Hollow? Is it the usual do's and don'ts, keep it straight, chip, putt, or is there a couple of different things you can do to maybe maneuver around some possible traps and problems?
Yeah, I mean, it's the tour players love the golf course, right? So they've played the Wells Fargo, which is now the Truist there for a lot of years, and the tour players love the golf course. And it's challenging, but it's fair. You got to drive it. You got to be a guy that hits it pretty far. Honestly, this golf course plays a little long. If you see the tour players right now the PGA pros that had qualified to play, I think the lowest one was at 114th right now. And that reason is that, our guys just don't hit it as far. Most of our PGA pros don't play as much. They don't hit it as far. So the tour players, it's a different story. So you need to be able to beat it out there a little bit there. Sam, I don't love the PGA Championship being at Quail Hollow, and because I want to see different golf courses for the PGA Championship, the U.S. Open, and the British Open. And we see Quail Hollow, right? We get to see it yearly on the PGA Tour. So why do we want to play a major championship there? So I've never really been a fan of playing the PGA there, but I do love the golf course. Again, the tour players love it. It's really good. And they do set it up different, obviously, than a regular tour event. But for me, I'd rather go somewhere where we're not seeing it every year on the PGA Tour like we do.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Jimmy Hanlin, our guest. You can check him out. 18 holes at the Swing Clinic, FanDuel Sports Network, the Yes Network. He's all over the place and doing it at an incredibly high level. Jimmy, if I just said, hey, what's the state of golf today, the state of the PGA? Obviously, the LIV is kind of hanging out there in the woods somewhere, but where do you sit as far as, hey, this is where we are in 2025. Where do you see it going 8, 10, 12 years from now?
So I think that's two separate questions, Sam. Number one is the state of golf has never been better. Ever in the history of the game have I seen more people playing this game. It's more diverse than it's ever been before. We're so busy at our golf courses, and that's just not me. That's everywhere right now. And people just love the game. Young players are playing the game. Ladies are playing the game right now. It's, when I was growing up, golf was an old man sport. And it was guys that had people that had money, and it was an old man sport. And that's changed completely. Golf is cool now. I quit playing quarterback in high school growing up to play golf, and that was the most unpopular decision you could ever have in your entire life. Now, golf's cool. Tiger made golf cool. So that's really kind of where it's at. From a game standpoint. Now let's go tour, Sam. Let's talk tour. That's a different story. I think the tour is probably I would say as long as I can go back and remember, about as unpopular as it's ever been because of the division with LIV Golf and the PGA Tour and how these players have handled it and how it's went and not being able to come together to put something together to see the best players in the world play outside of the 4 major championships, right? And so I think the tour is not in a great place, and they need to figure it out because I think they're going to suffer. But I think the game is in a better place than it's ever been right now.
I got a question I kind of want to piggyback off of that. And down here in the Stark County area, Jimmy, golf courses used to be like restaurants. I mean, they were everywhere. We've lost so many. Tam O'Shanter, Skylands, Edgewood, just to name a few. Some days I wake up, I want to take my son to the range. I'm like, where the hell are we going to go to a driving range today? They're just like disappearing. Everybody's building these indoor facilities, which I love, especially in the winter. You can go out there and hit balls when it's 20 degrees and have a good time. But any reason for that, why certain areas in certain states might be just losing places to go play? How do we get that turned around?
Well, I think the thing was, Sam, it was really, golf struggled. Right, golf struggled for a long time, and pre-COVID, it was expensive. It was, it was, like I said, it wasn't as diverse. People were getting away from it a lot, and So I think, people like golf courses closed because people that own that property and had the ability to sell it or do something different, they just took advantage of that from a business opportunity because the golf course was sitting there losing money. I think that's changed. I think a lot of those people, I bet you if you went around Stark County and you asked those people that sold those golf courses, I bet you a lot of them would sit there and say, yeah, I wish I would have held on a little longer.
Yep.
Golf is in a good place right now and golf courses are packed and things are good, unless they got some incredible land deal or something like that. Right. So I think a lot of those people would wish that it was still available and still open. Right. But at the end of the day, in the early 2000s, Sam, there was a big real estate boom. We built a lot of golf courses to make the real estate worth more money. There may have been a little too many for the amount of golfers that there were available at the time. And so then when the economy struggled a little bit from 2008 to 2012 or 13, and, it got a little tougher and that's when a lot of these golf courses really struggled. They weren't able to put the money back into the place to keep them as nice. And that's kind of how it all worked. And listen, that's no different than any other business, but, golf's obviously popular and people saw it. But, I think that, again, I think if you went to a lot of those owners that used to own golf courses that closed now, they're probably looking at all these other ones like, man, they're packed. I wish I still had my. And the other thing is, you're getting more money because the more that golf courses are busy, the more that the rates go up. And that's not great for the consumer. But at the end of the day, you're able to maintain your golf courses better, the conditions are better, and you enjoy the experience a little bit better. So, again, I think golf's in the best place I've seen it in my 30 some years of being in the business, and it's exciting for sure. And I just hope it continues to go up that way.
I hope so too. Jimmy Hanlin is our guest one more, and we'll let you roll on this Friday. We talked about faces of sports, Jordan in the NBA, and baseball, this and that, and we know that Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, guys like that, Tiger Woods, obviously, Phil Mickelson. The face of the PGA right now, would it be Scheffler?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would probably say Rory.
Rory, okay.
Rory's very popular. Rory's a popular kid. Scotty's great. I tell people he reminds me a little bit of Gomer Pyle, right, from the old days. He's just like humdy-dumdy and everything's great, and whether he wins or loses, he's happy, and he's just a good person, right, in general, right? So I think it's good. But I really think that worldwide it's probably Rory. And man, I'll tell you what, you talk to the kids though, there's no question. It's neither one of them. It's Bryson DeChambeau, right? He's creating content. He's on YouTube, and you ask most kids 25 and under who their favorite player is, and you're going to hear Bryson out of their mouth before anybody else. And the other cool thing about golf is right, for these young kids, it's like, it may not even be a tour player, right? You might be talking about the good kids that do the content, and Paige Sporanic and all these people that are just doing golf content online. And again, that's why I'm saying it doesn't have to be, the PGA Tour. So I think they have to be careful of their inner workings with LIV and losing some of the more popular players and not being able to watch them play, because there's other outlets for people to watch golf, and obviously they're doing it because it's become very popular.
Yeah, no doubt. This is a tricky time now for the PGA Tour. Hopefully they can maneuver their way through it. Jimmy, before we go, it's a fill in the blank Friday. Are you ready?
Yep, ready.
All right. If you had $1 for every time you lost your blank, you would be rich.
Golf ball.
Easy. We get keys, glasses, phones, chapstick. Jimmy Hanlin fires out the golf ball. I love it. Jimmy, thank you so much. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll chat with you down the street. Thanks again.
Thanks, Sam.
You got it. Jimmy Hanlin, check him out online at FanDuel Sports. You can check him out on the Yes Network. Does a great job owning and operating Stonewater and Little Mountain golf courses. And you can check him out with 18 holes and the Swing Clinic as well. The news and the weather coming up in just seconds here on the Sam Bourquin Show. 1310 WDPN. Stay with us, everybody.
Here's the latest news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30. Authorities are urging the public to be vigilant after 11 inmates at the main prison facility in New Orleans escaped. They got out of the Orleans Justice Center, and that facility is now on lockdown. The incident occurred around 8:30 this morning when, during a routine morning head count, prison guards noticed the inmates missing. New Orleans Police Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick says she didn't know about it until at least a couple of hours after it happened and responded to a question about why the public wasn't notified sooner.
Something we'll deal with that at another time, but we are working collaboratively as we always have. But we, wanted to immediately notify our public.
Officials say one inmate was recaptured. The rest are still on the loose and should be considered armed and dangerous. The first direct Russia-Ukraine peace talks since the early weeks of Moscow's 2022 invasion ended after less than 2 hours. While both sides agreed on a large prisoner swap, they clearly remained far apart on key conditions for ending the fighting. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said he discussed the talks with President Trump and the leaders of France, Germany, the UK, and Poland. In a post on X from a European leadership meeting in Albania, Zelensky urged tough sanctions against Moscow if it rejects a full and unconditional ceasefire and an end to killings. A federal judge in Maryland will hear arguments over whether the Trump administration can invoke the state secrets privilege in the court case involving Kilmar Abrego Garcia. The judge had ordered the man's return from El Salvador last month after he was mistakenly deported. He has since directed the administration to provide information about what's being done to bring Abrego Garcia back. Government lawyers say those details are protected state secrets. Abrego Garcia's attorneys disagree. They note that President Trump and his administration have repeatedly discussed the case publicly and said Abrego Garcia won't return. The judge's hearing was set to begin this afternoon. Commuter trains in New Jersey are at a standstill today. It's day one of a strike with engineers who drive the trains, and it's affecting some 350,000 commuters who travel into and out of New York City and all over New Jersey. Officials say that so far commutes have been smooth, but admit that the beginning of next week will be more of a challenge. Chris Coulari, the CEO of NJ Transit, tells reporters that he hopes some progress is made over the weekend.
The locomotive engineers want to get back to work, and we want them to get back to work. That is the entire mission here, because ultimately we want the 350,000 daily riders to be able to use the mass transit system that they rely on.
The union says it's been 5 years since engineers were given a pay raise, and they want an increase that's comparable to other train operators in the New York City area. Transit officials and Governor Phil Murphy claim it was the union that rejected a deal originally made in March. It's 77 degrees in Alliance at 4:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast from Mark Johnson on AM 1310 WDPN.
All right, for your afternoon, we'll see quite a bit of sunshine. Could be an isolated storm by late afternoon. Our high 83, warm summer-like degrees. Overnight, scattered thunderstorms are likely. Our low in the lower 60s. I am Mark J. Weather. Have a great night.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as 1 day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Looking for a fun-filled way to celebrate the spring season? Head to SpringFest at Spring Hill Historic Home in Massillon this Saturday, May 17th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. This all-ages event is packed with something for everyone. Over 20 artisan and craft vendors, tasty eats from D3K Dogs and Boba Tea-licious, live music from the Canal Street Ramblers and Maddie Starr, plus crafts, games, and a scavenger hunt. Tour the historic 1821 farmhouse and don't miss the t-shirt printing bar by Sassy Mama Creative Designs. Shop unique finds from favorites like the Red Geranium, Molly B's Candle Company, A Wandering Palette, and Ebb the Creator, just to name a few. Admission is $10 for adults, $5 for youth ages 6 to 12, and free for kids 5 and under. Get your tickets now on Eventbrite. And your love of all things spring to Spring Hill Historic Home this Saturday, 11 to 4.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
330-821-1310 is our telephone number, 330-821-1310. You can also text the program anytime. Feel free, 330-924-7088. We will be with you until 6 o'clock tonight. Thanks to Jimmy Hanlin for joining us to talk a little PGA golf, a little PGA Championship today. And thanks to Ben Axelrod from At Awful Announcing for giving us a ring here in the 3 o'clock hour. A quick check of the leaderboard, by the way. And I know it's only Friday, but there are some guys that have been hitting the ball pretty well. Johnny Vegas is 8 under for the tournament so far. Max Homa is at 5 under. For the tournament. Scotty Scheffler is 4 under for the tournament so far. A couple other golfers that are still out there. Bryson DeChambeau, 3 under so far for the tournament. And where'd he go? John Rahm, he is 2 under so far for the PGA Championship. I still think Scotty Scheffler is going to be there at the end. Maybe Max Homa. I don't know, but look, there's a lot to go. As Jimmy said, today's only Friday. It's like the first quarter of an NBA game. There's a lot of golf to be played, and I'm sure the leaderboard will go up and down many, many times between now and about 6 or 7 o'clock coming up here on Sunday. It is our Fill in the Blank Friday here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Question today: if you had $1 for every time you lost your blank, you would be rich. If you had $1 every time you lost what, you would be rich. Mike Young says, my phone. Timothy Abrig, phone. Kathy, phone. Julia McCauley says, my readers. Yep. Carl says, if I had $1 every time I lost my temper, I would be rich. Jason says, my sunglasses. Doug, my wallet. Jacob says, my mind. Yeah, great comments today. Keep those coming on Facebook, X. And you can also drop them on the Q92 Radio YouTube channel at the bottom there as well. Okay, so Tito and the Reds welcoming in the Guardians this weekend. Cleveland 25-17 on the season. I think the Reds are like 21-23 or thereabouts. So they're kind of staggering a little bit. They're hovering around the 500 mark. But what's the one thing that we knew, that we kind of grew to love about Tito Francona when he was with Cleveland? Usually started a little bit slow. Usually started a little bit slow coming out of the blocks. Had to fight off what? Had to fight off a couple of injuries. Maybe guys had some rusty starts to their year. And then about the 60th, 70th, 80th game, you pretty much knew what you were going to get there. Okay. By the way, Bybee and Singer, the pitching matchup tonight in Cincinnati. Okay. But that's how our teams were when Tito was here. Reds are 21-24, by the way. I think they're fourth in the Central right now. But don't you just know? Don't you just know they're going to be there? I think these Battle of Ohio games are going to be a lot of fun this year. First 3 down in Cincinnati, and the Reds come up to Cleveland a little bit later on in the year. But I think the Reds are just going to get nothing but better. We went down to Great American Ballpark, not last year, but the year before. And it was June or July. We went down just because we wanted to knock that one off the bucket list to go to the ballpark. And I don't even remember who they were playing. It wasn't the Guardians. I can't remember who they were playing. It might have been St. Louis. I'm not sure. Anyhow, that was the night that Taylor Swift was in concert. Basically right across the street over where the Bengals play. And that was a complete cluster. I mean, There was 70,000 people at the stadium to watch Taylor Swift. Another 50,000 Swifties running around the area. And then at the Reds game, they actually moved. I remember they moved the time of the first pitch. It was supposed to be at 7. They started the game at 5:05. And one of the most bizarre things I'd ever seen was after the ball game, it was fireworks night. They were shooting off fireworks at 7:30. It was broad daylight. And you completely lost any effects of what a fireworks display would be on a Friday night in Cincinnati because it was hot. It was muggy. I remember we were miserable because we parked at a parking garage, and we got at the garage at 2:30. Maybe it was 2:00. I didn't want to take any chances getting stuck in traffic and all that nonsense. So we walked around. We walked around the different stuff they had going on in the city, around the ballpark. There were Swiftie parties on every street. People dressed up. They were going to the concert, and people were selling things. It was a hoot. It really was fun. But it was hot. It was like 90. It was very humid. I just remember we finally made it up to the game, and we were lucky enough to get some tickets where we had we were inside. Not a loge, but we had club seats, so we could go in and enjoy the air conditioning, eat, drink, whatever, go back out, watch the game. It was so hot. But I just remember by the bottom of the ninth it came around, I'm thinking, if they're going to shoot fireworks off here, we're not going to see them. And they did. I mean, because they had to, because they moved the game up 2 hours. But we enjoyed our time down in Cincinnati. And I love watching Ellie De La Cruz play baseball. I think this kid, so good. So good. I hope the Reds can hang on to him, but he'll probably command so much money that he won't be there after his initial contract. But they got some good players. Friedel's a pretty good player. Gavin Lux, the kid they brought over from the Dodgers, I think there's a lot of untapped potential there with him. Spencer Steer, first baseman's got a pretty good stick. They got Will Benson, remember, formerly of Cleveland. He's out there in right field. So the Reds are going to be good. Tito will have them playing. I think they'll be there at the end. So Guardians and the Reds tonight. Now, my thing is showing 5:10 first pitch. I know there's not another Taylor Swift concert going on tonight. And I can't imagine I know they're not playing a doubleheader. I'll have to look into that, but that's what it says. Reds and Guardians a little bit after 5 o'clock today. 330-821-1310 is our telephone number. I understand we've got a couple of folks on the line. You're on the Sam Bourquin Show on WDPN. Happy Friday. Who's this? Hello, caller. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hello. Who we got?
Yeah, this is Craig.
Craig, where are you calling from, bud?
Calling you from Iowa.
Where are you calling from?
From Iowa.
Iowa. Wow, what's going on out in Iowa?
Roughly 1,000 miles or so west of you.
Yeah, I know where you're at there out in the heartland. What's good on this Friday?
Waterloo, Iowa.
Very good. How long you been there?
But I'm doing fine. So the reason I called you is because, first of all, I hope I didn't interrupt your show because this number I'm showing on my card may have been a hotline number.
Nah, this is your personal number. You're good to go.
Okay, good. Okay, here's the situation. The last time I did a show as a guest on your station was with co-host Kyle Schwartz and Mark Harris, but that was several years ago, and I haven't been a guest on your station since then, so I wanted to check and see about the possibilities.
What'd you have in mind?
Okay, my topic has to do with possibly the most fun travel job that's easily accessible to people all over North America, which is delivering brand new recreational vehicles from their many points of manufacture around the country to the dealerships that sell them. They're always driven there. It's a job I did full time for 10 years, and during that time, I wrote the only handbook and guide that's ever been written to tell a person how to get that job and get the most out of it. Entitled "How to Get Paid $50,000 a Year to Travel Without Selling Anything."
Well, that's not a bad gig. I'm gonna have to look you up there. 50 G's. That's pretty good. It's not great, but it's pretty good.
Basically, it's pretty much of an average income, but on the other hand, it's an income earned by doing a job that feels like a vacation with pay, getting to explore North America's wonderlands at will and getting paid for it.
Yeah, that sounds like a good deal. Hey, I got to ask you, how long have you been in Iowa? I know I asked you before, but I didn't get that answer there.
Oh, okay. I moved up here from Daytona Beach in 1990, so I've been here at the same address for the last 35 years.
Wow. Okay. Now, where about in Iowa? Iowa City, Des Moines, where are you?
No, those places are south and southwest of me. I'm in Waterloo, Iowa, which is about 100 miles in from Illinois once you leave Dubuque.
Oh, okay. I got you. I got to be honest. I've never been out that way. I've been to Canada. I've been to Florida. I've been to Vegas. I've been to Georgia, New York, Houston. I've never been through Nebraska, Iowa, out there in the heartland. I hope to get out there someday and check it out.
Well, actually, Iowa looks very much like Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And Ohio is quite hilly in the bottom half of Ohio and the bottom, I guess, quarter of Ohio. And the same is true of Iowa. And most of Iowa is just kind of rolling prairie and corn as far as the eye can see during the summertime.
Oh, yeah. I've seen some great video and great photos of the great state of Iowa. Hey, we appreciate your call this afternoon. Glad you picked up the phone. Have a great weekend, and maybe we'll chat here with you down the road. Thanks again.
Well, what I wanted to do is to see if I could book a guest spot with you. Can I possibly do that now, or could we do that at a later time?
Yeah, I think at a later time when we got some time, because we only have two of us here in the studio right now. So maybe when we are freed up, we can make that happen for you.
What would be a good time or day to call you?
What do you think, Rainsburg? What's a good time for you?
We are on the air every day from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m.
I would say call after 6 o'clock. How's that?
After 6 o'clock.
After 6 o'clock. Yep, Eastern time.
Okay, I'll do that. We'll talk to you then.
All right, partner. There he goes.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye now.
Hey, what else is there to do in Iowa? Let's call the radio station in Alliance, Ohio, and see if we can get an interview about a business. Why not?
He was very friendly. Very friendly.
Well, I didn't say it wasn't friendly, but trying to figure out the angle there.
Hey, man.
What was the motive there?
Color me sold. All you got to do is drive cars. Sounds easy.
Now, I will tell you this: $50,000 is not a whole lot of money
if
you are gassing up those vehicles.
That estimate has not aged very well.
So, I would say if I would, and I don't think I would take a gig like that because I don't like to drive a lot. It'd have to be about $125,000. If I'm responsible for my fuel.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you're paying for the gas.
That's, we know where the gas is. Now it's starting to go down a little bit, but you're on the road, you're stopping off, get a bite to eat. I mean, I don't know. Well, have fun with that when the gentleman calls you back at 6 o'clock. That'll be all you, bud.
Oh,
all right. It's 4:48 here on the Sam Bourquin Show. I think it's a good time to regroup the troops. We'll take a break. 330-821-1310. You can always text the program at 330-924-7088. It's a fill-in-the-blank Friday on 1310 WDPN.
Hey drivers, it's Ryan Blaney, your 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champion and driver of the number 12 Discount Tire Ford Mustang. Do you know one of the most important things that helps keep my car going on the track? Tire pressure. Keeping your tires properly inflated is crucial for safe stopping power and better gas mileage. Check your tire pressure at least once a month or stop by a local tire retailer for an air check.
A message from the U.S. Tire Manufacturers Association.
At YMCA Summer Camp, kids find their why. Friendship and fun, a world of adventure beneath a golden sun. Running, laughing, full of wonder. Being themselves is second nature. Summer camp is where they begin to unlock the confidence that lies within. When kids find new passions, they find their why. Summer camp season starts soon. Learn more at ymca.org for a better us.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Teachers are dynamic leaders shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. They're skilled experts, discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, leading by example. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready? Explore teaching at teach.org, supported by the U.S. Department of Education and 1 million teachers of color.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
And we're back here on the program. We'll be with you until 6 o'clock tonight. I want to thank Jimmy Hanlin, PGA Golf Pro, for joining us earlier in the program. And, of course, Ben Axelrod from Awful Announcing on X. Yeah, I was re-looking here at the schedule, and by gosh, this game is a 5:10 start tonight. Cleveland, Cincinnati, Singer against Bybee. First pitch at 5:10. Now, I'm sure there's a reason for it. 6:40 tomorrow, 1:40 on Sunday. Maybe they're having a post-game concert or something that they want to get the game over with by 8 or so, and excuse me, set up a stage. I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason for it. I just don't know.
Is it?
I feel bad. I don't know what it is.
Is it homecoming night, Sam?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't think. I mean, it's the middle of May.
It's also not a high school team, but
no. I mean, they could have a concert there. They could have. I guess some teams have already had fireworks displays, but I don't know why they're on a Friday too. You know what a pain in the rear end it is to get to a baseball stadium at 5:10 on a Friday. I mean, don't be surprised if you happen to be watching that game and it comes on at 5 o'clock and the place is empty. It's just people are working. It's rush hour traffic. People are trying to get parked, go here, go there. I'm sure there's other stuff going on down in the Riverfront District area down there. So, yeah, that's interesting. Well, good luck. Good luck to the Guardians, and hopefully Tanner Bybee and the crew can pick up a win here tonight and keep things rolling. Tough news again for the Mount Union Purple Raider baseball team. Man, they've had a rough go here lately. Lost a couple games in the OAC tournament, got knocked out, but they received an at-large bid. They made it into the regionals. They're hosting again this weekend. And, boy, they lost a tough one today. Catholic University beat Mount Union by the score of 11-10. Catholic scored 5 runs in the top of the 9th inning. But then here come the Purple Raiders. 1, 2, 3, 4. And had a couple runners on base. Couldn't push them across. Final, Catholic 11, Mount 10. They'll again have to go through the losers bracket, and they will play in a losers bracket game tomorrow over at Rayfield Rogers Field. Come on, Coach Hesse, get them going. Let's get a win tomorrow over there at Mount Union. 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310.
Got a comment over here, Sam.
What we got?
Lisa Gonzalez on YouTube says hi, and she says that they moved the game up because they were anticipating strong storms this evening.
Oh.
So that makes sense.
Well, thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
I believe Lisa's down in the Columbus area, if I'm not positive. She's we interact on social media. And all right, Lisa, I appreciate that information. So Okay, now Keller, here we go. See, all you got to do is throw some stuff out there, and the huddled masses will respond. So thank you, Lisa. Keller says first pitch has been changed from 5. Wait a minute. He says the game has been changed. Okay, to 5:10 from 6:40 due to Cincinnati's forecast. Okay. Well, thank you, Keller, and thank you, Lisa, because that threw me for a loop, and I felt bad not having the reason why the change, because that's certainly something that I should know. So they just kind of planned ahead down there, and apparently some bad weather coming, so they wanted to move the game up and get it in before the storms would get there later on tonight. Now, we were supposed to get some bad storms in the overnight last night between like 2:30 a.m. until about 4:30 or 5 a.m. So I was up last night till, I don't know, 12:30 or so. And I always usually check everything before I head to sleep. I'm the last one to go to bed every night. I'll stick my head out the garage a little bit, make sure the door's closed, or unless one of our idiotic cats is running around, make sure that she's got room to get in. And then I go outside, I look on the patio, I turn the patio light on, look around, everything good. Nobody hanging out in the woods. Okay, we're good. And then I noticed you notice like when there's a wind pattern going and like the trees, they'll all move, and you just, the wind chimes, somebody's got wind chimes. That might have been us. I don't know. And it just feels like there's a storm coming. So it's about 12:30, 1:45. I'm like, boy, it sure feels like we're going to get something. So I go to my phone and I looked on the radar and I'm checking out. Okay, it looks like maybe, but it's like 2 or 3 hours away. So I just wanted to make sure before I turned in for the night that both cell phones were charged. All that's good, just in case the power would go out. Woke up today. I don't even think it rained. Did it rain at all overnight? I know you live close to here, so you're about a half hour east of me. Did it rain overnight? Was there any kind of wind or lightning or anything at all?
I went to bed around 10 or 11, I think. I hadn't seen anything yet, but the ground was wet this morning, so it at least did rain, I think, maybe a little bit.
Okay.
But it didn't look like much because it was just kind of damp and it was dry within like an hour or two.
I fully expected to be woken up in the middle of the night with thunder and all kind of crazy stuff going on. I was like, God, please don't let the power go out.
Oh, I could sleep through all of that.
We had well, I'll tell you what, I slept like a log last night because I took a little Mucinex night shift last night before I went to bed.
There you go.
And within about 12 minutes, I was out the door. I didn't hear my son leave for school this morning. I didn't hear my wife leave for work. I was out.
Oh yeah, I sleep like
never. And I'm thinking, man, this could be pretty cool every night. I could just, but my God, you don't want to do that. That's bad news. But it did help me get to sleep and clear me up a little bit, so I felt a little bit better when I got up this morning. Hey, it's a Friday. It's a fill in the blank Friday here on the Sam Bourquin Show. And our fill in the blank Friday sentence today is, if you had $1 for every time you lost your blank, you would be rich. If you had $1 for every time you lost your blank, you would be rich. Hit us up, 330-821-1310, or you can drop some comments on all of our social media platforms. I have come up with, I don't know, 7 or 8 things.
Oh, hey, patience.
Just on myself that I lose. I mean, I should be a multi-billionaire right now for all the stuff that I lose. But chapstick is number 1. Cell phone is number 2. Car keys are number 3. Sunglasses are number 4. And number 5, I would say my work bag that I have my papers and notes and pens and all that stuff. That would be number 5.
That tracks. It's sunglasses top of the list all day.
Holy cow!
I don't lose anything like I'll lose sunglasses.
Some of the responses on Facebook, Mike Popovich, how you doing, Popper? He says, if I had $1 every time I lost my mind, I would be rich. Jerry Mack, excuse me, I can't repeat that, but that's a funny one. Eric Snodgrass says, if I had $1 every time I lost my keys, I would be rich. Stevie Rudner, Grandpa, He says, every time I lost my Eagles pride jacket, I would be rich. Hope you're doing well, Steve. I think Steve's down there in Dallas, living the good life. So good to hear from him. All right, we got the news and the weather coming up here at the top of the hour. In the 5 o'clock hour, we'll look a little bit closer. We'll give some updates, actually, on the Guardians and Reds down in Cincinnati. We'll take a quick peek at the Preakness Stakes, the odds, and who we think will cross the finish line first at the Preakness Stakes. We'll review the Mountain Union baseball game, and we'll get into a little bit of NBA playoffs as well. That's all coming up here on the other side. One more big hour to go. Hope you're having a great day, everybody. Thanks for listening. 1310 WDPN. It's the Sam Bourquin Show. Stay with us.
News, weather, sports, local information, and music 24 hours a day. This is AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Supreme Court rejecting the Trump administration's appeal to quickly resume deportations of Venezuelans under the use of the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. The justice is issuing the decision based on an emergency appeal from lawyers representing the Venezuelan men who are accused of being gang members. On the heels of his Mideast trip, President Trump says talks over Iran's nuclear program is making progress. ABC's Karen Travers with more.
The president didn't give specifics to explain his optimism or details about what the proposal is that he said today the Iranians have from the United States. His special envoy, Steve Witkoff, has been leading these conversations. There have been 4 rounds of indirect talks between the United States and Iran in recent weeks. The last one happened on Sunday in Oman. It's not clear yet when the next one would take place, but the president expressing optimism that they're getting close.
Direct talks between Ukraine and Russia falling flat today in Turkey. The Russia delegation calling for Ukrainian land as terms for a ceasefire. This is ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Get Memorial Day appliance savings at the Home Depot with up to 35% off, plus up to an extra $450 off select appliances like Whirlpool that can keep up with your busy routine. Whether storing weeknight dinners or packing coolers for the next sports practice, the Home Depot has the Whirlpool refrigerator with storage and ice capacity for everything you need to keep up. Celebrate Memorial Day with savings on select appliances at the Home Depot. Offer valid May 15th through June 4th, U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:02. An investigation continues into an incident in which a student brought a loaded gun to Sauder Elementary School in the Jackson School District. Police were called there for a report of a third grader with a .45 caliber firearm in his book bag around 12:30 this afternoon. A resource officer had been informed of the weapon by another student. The resource officer confronted the 10-year-old boy with the firearm and took it. Police say he had made threats against another student and the resource officer. He was charged with inducing panic and illegal conveyance of a deadly weapon. The boy is being held at the Stark County Juvenile Detention Center. An autopsy for a Stark County jail inmate who died last week will be performed by the Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office. 33-year-old Zachary Snowberger of Canton was arrested May 7th on warrants charging him with failure to comply, aggravated drug possession, and obstructing official business. He was found unresponsive in his cell the following day. Jail staff attempted to revive Snowberger. He was taken to Mercy Hospital, where he later died. The Stark County coroner is also investigating. A truck driver has been acquitted of all felony charges stemming from a deadly chain reaction crash that killed 6 people from the Tusky Valley School District. Licking County Common Pleas Judge David Brandstool issued the verdict today at the bench trial for 61-year-old Jacob McDonald of Zanesville. He was charged with 6 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide and 9 counts of vehicular assault. McDonald was found guilty of 6 misdemeanor counts of vehicular homicide. He will be sentenced at a later date. McDonald was driving a truck on I-70 in November 2023 when it hit a vehicle in front front of him and a charter bus carrying students and chaperones from Tusky Valley schools. 3 students in the bus died, as did 3 adults in the other vehicle. Canton police are investigating a Wednesday night shooting. A man was wounded in the shoulder and hands at Nelson Place in Sylvan Court around 9 p.m. The 23-year-old victim drove himself to his Plain Township home, where deputies arrived and called an ambulance. He left Mercy Hospital against medical advice at 12:45 a.m., but was later taken to Akron General Medical Center. A man will spend 1 year in jail for an October crash in Jackson Township that put another man in the hospital. 39-year-old Piyush Kumar Patel of Greene was sentenced Thursday by Stark County Common Pleas Judge Kristen Farmer. He pleaded guilty to charges of aggravated vehicular assault and OVI. The Highway Patrol said Patel was northbound on I-77 when his SUV rear-ended a vehicle near Portage Street Northwest and went off the roadway. The second car overturned and rolled through a traffic sign post. The driver, a 39-year-old Jackson Township man, was taken to a hospital with serious injuries. Patel's blood alcohol level was 0.339. One person is dead following a shooting in East Liverpool. WKBN TV reports officers were called for a shooting at Utah and Montrose Streets just before 6:30 p.m. Thursday. They found the victim, later identified as James Powell, dead at the scene. Police received a tip the suspect was hiding under a porch on Avondale Street. Daniel Whitley of East Liverpool was taken into custody about 3 hours after the shooting. Bond was set at $1 million at arraignment today. Whitley is charged with murder. Police Chief John Lane says the shooting appeared to be the result of a dispute over a woman. An investigation is continuing. A man has succumbed to injuries suffered in an ATV crash in Columbiana County. The Highway Patrol says 41-year-old Jim Show of Wayne Township died Thursday. Troopers responded to Steubenville Pike Road near Applegate Road Saturday night. They found an ATV and Show lying in the roadway. He was flown to St. Elizabeth Health Center in Youngstown with serious injuries. A Columbiana County judge has rejected the Wellsville Board of Education's motion to dismiss a lawsuit accusing it of violating the Open Meetings Act. The decision from Common Pleas Judge Scott Washam means the case is still pending, with a pretrial hearing scheduled for October 15th and a trial for October 29th. The decision concerns meeting minutes not being detailed and minutes reflecting entry into executive session for an unapproved purpose. The suit was filed last year by Brian Ames of Mogador. Similar complaints filed by him against the Columbiana, Crestview, East Liverpool, and United School Boards were settled. Related suits against Columbiana City Council and the Latonia School Board are pending. A Mahoning County judge has rejected a request seeking to seal the settlement for a man killed in the Realty Tower explosion in downtown Youngstown last year. Probate Judge Robert Rusu on Thursday denied the motion filed by all parties in the case, including the family of Akil Drake. The judge determined they did not meet the burden of proof or present convincing evidence to grant the motion. Rusu gave the parties 7 days to appeal his decision. Drake died in the May 2024 blast, which was caused by workers who cut a gas line under the sidewalk. 9 others were injured. A Lowellville man has been formally charged with sex crimes involving children. The Mahoning County grand jury indicted 54-year-old Michael Gay Thursday. He's charged with 2 counts of gross sexual imposition and 1 count each of importuning and disseminating matter harmful to juveniles. He's been in the county jail since April 1st and is being held on $125,000 bond. Details of the allegations were not available. The death of a man in Warren early today is under investigation. WFMJ-TV reports police responded to reports of gunfire in the 2100 block of Draper Street Southeast around 2:30. Officers found a crashed vehicle in the intersection with Benton Street. A man was found dead at the scene. He has not been identified. The Trumbull County coroner is also investigating. An investigation of an animal cruelty case in Warren has resulted in a felony charge against a second suspect. 1 count of prohibitions concerning companion animals was filed today in Warren Municipal Court against 53-year-old Stephanie Swigan of Warren. An emaciated dog suffering from a ruptured abdominal mass was found in the basement of an Oak Knoll Avenue Southeast home May 10th. It later died. Swigan lived at the address with 43-year-old Thomas Linecooler of Warren. He pleaded not guilty to the same felony charge Tuesday during his arraignment. An employee of the Liberty School District is on paid leave after being charged with theft and vandalism. 35-year-old Luke Polito of Poland is scheduled for arraignment May 27th in Girard Municipal Court. He is an intervention assistant. Polito allegedly took a computer from an elementary school May 9th because he didn't want administrators to know he was using it during work time to apply for jobs. Police say he intended to delete his resume and other documents. Polito reportedly put it on the roof of his car and it fell off while he was cleaning the vehicle. He allegedly threw it in a dumpster in Boardman. Polito returned later to get the computer and it was gone. Police say he told administrators about the incident the following day. Seismic activity has led the Ohio Department of Natural Resources to shut down a fracking well in Noble County. Recent earthquake activity was reported in the area of Pleasant City. The latest report, May 8th, showed at least 33 people reported a felt event. One report was recorded in the same area May 6th. Other reports were made May 2nd and April 29th. A spokeswoman for ODNR confirmed Thursday that the agency is looking into the well and the nearby seismic activity. Ohio's unemployment rate was 4.9% in April, up from 4.8% the previous month. Ohio's non-agricultural wage and salary employment increased 22,200 to 5.7 million. The number of unemployed workers in Ohio in April was 291,000, up from 283,000 in March. The number has increased by 46,000 in the past 12 months. The April unemployment rate increased 0.7% from 4.2% in April 2024. The national unemployment rate last month was 4.2%, unchanged from March, and up from 3.9% in April 2024. Taking a look at Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed today at 42,654, up 332 points. The Nasdaq Composite ended the day 99 points higher at 19,211, and the S&P 500 closed at 5,958, up 41 points. It's 77 degrees and Alliance at 5:09. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's Mark Johnson's forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
It's going to be warm, a little muggy as well. 83 degrees for the high with isolated thunderstorms by late afternoon. Overnight, scattered thunderstorms are likely. Grab that umbrella. Our low, 62. I am RJ Weather. Have a great Friday.
Got big dreams of a better career? Whether you're looking to learn new skills or level up in your current field, Ohio Meets Jobs Star Contest for Forest Counties is here to help you turn that daydream into your day job. We'll take care of your training costs so you can focus on building the skills you need for a brighter future in fields such as healthcare or skilled trades. Call us or visit our website at omjwork.com to learn more, because your future is closer than you think.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
It is the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Get you ready for the weekend. It is 5:12 on your Friday. Hope you've had a great day. The weather has been really, really good so far today. A little sticky out there. You heard Mark telling about it, but hopefully we can avoid the rain and the slop and all that stuff and have a great weather weekend here in Alliance and all over Northeast Ohio. Phone lines are open, 330-821-1310. You can also text the show at 330-924-7088. I want to thank Ben Axelrod for joining us in the 3 o'clock hour today. Check him out at Awful Announcing on X. Does a great job. Also, thank to PGA Golf Pro Jimmy Hanlin for joining us in the 4 o'clock hour, breaking down a little PGA golf and kind of like the state of golf as we see it right now. By the way, the second round of the PGA is still rolling at Quail Hollow, and we'll update those scores for you here in just a little bit. Max Homa, Scotty Scheffler, having some good days today at Quail Hollow. NBA Finals last night, Denver beat Oklahoma City 119-107. Game 7 coming up Saturday for the Thunder and the Nuggets. Game 6 tonight in New York. Knicks and Celtics. New York wins. They're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Quick baseball update. College baseball today. Our Mount Union Purple Raiders hosting one of the regionals at Rayfield Rogers Field today. Not good news. Purple Raiders fall by the score of 11-10 to Catholic University. Mount was down by 5 runs going into the bottom of the 9th inning. They scored 4 to make it 11-10 and had a couple shots at it with 2 outs, but couldn't push the run across. So Catholic University beats Mount 11-10. Purple Raiders now going to have to go through the losers bracket in their game tomorrow if they want to keep moving through the regional and hopefully get to a championship game that will be coming up here on Sunday. Guardians and Reds, they are just underway down in Cincinnati. No score at the Great American Ballpark. Now, a lot of you are saying, whoa, what are you talking about? Bottom of the... No, that was originally scheduled for a 6:40 first pitch. And I guess the weather folks down in Cincinnati said, hey, you this storm, this rain is coming. So we're gonna maybe ask you to move the first pitch up so we can get this game in. So they did. The Reds and Guardians 5-10 today, so they can get the game in before the big storms blow through down there in Cincinnati. Preakness States are coming up this weekend in Baltimore. Interesting and a little surprising, and also maybe even a little disappointing. But the winner of the Kentucky Derby not racing today, or not racing tomorrow in the big race in Baltimore. So they are going to go from a field of 20 horses last week? I think there's only 9 horses that are ready to roll right now for the Preakness. A couple of the horses, I think 2 or 3 of them that raced in the Derby are actually going to race in the Preakness tomorrow. But that's wild, man, that you would go from 20 horses. I keep trying to, there we go. My gosh, this app is terrible. Here's the latest here's the morning line from about an hour ago. Here's what it's looking like. Goal-oriented, 6-1. Journalism, one of the favorites, at 8-5. American Promise comes in at 15-1. Heart of Honor at 12-1. Play Billy is at 20-1. River Thames is 9-2. Sandman, 4-1. That's who I like. I like Sandman. Clever Again is 5-1. And Gosker comes in at 20-1. So 9 horses in the Preakness tomorrow. I like Sandman, and I would probably take a shot on Heart of Honor at 12-1, and then I might go American Promise. So there you go. You want to make huge bags of cash tomorrow. Yeah, right. There's your pick 3. Sandman, Heart of Honor, and American Promise. Just throwing that out there. Rainsburg, do you bet on horses at all?
No, I find I have an addictive personality, so I don't venture towards the gambling.
Nothing at all?
No, I tried it a little bit with when like drafts Duel and Sports King or Draft whatever. I said those correctly. Whenever
Duel, DraftKings.
Yeah, whenever
I got you.
Whenever they came out and they legalized gambling, my friend was like, "Hey, if you sign up, you get $200 free." And I was like, "All right, I'll play with $200 and have no idea what I'm doing. Just Google who everybody thinks is going to win and do that." But yeah, I don't have no, I know better. I know myself.
Wow. See, when you first signed up for those accounts, you should have got a hold of me. I could have told you how to lose that money even faster.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. My friend is equally as good at helping me lose my money.
I think a lot of us opened up an account. I mean, look, people have been gambling since Adam and Eve. So people, oh my God, gambling.
Yeah.
Give it a rest. All right. It's been going on since before time. So when the state of Ohio, who is 20 years late to everything, finally decided to make it legalized because they figured out they could make a lot of money, and they are. So DraftKings and FanDuel and MGM, everybody was putting out those, hey, open up an account, put in $5, we'll give you 150, we'll give you 200, this and that and the other. And I think for the most part, people have enjoyed the experience.
Yeah.
I know some folks that opened up accounts like a day or two after they legalized it. They're still playing on that original money.
Oh, wow.
So that's good.
That's
now,
crazy.
I also know folks that have had to reload their account numerous times so they could stay in the game. But to each his own. But I was just curious. I am always fascinated to see who bets on horses, who sports bets,
I have a little
who plays slot machines, if they play the wheel, if they play roulette. I've always found that fascinating. Like who does what? What's their regimen? Do they have a certain way they like to do things? Are they superstitious? I've always found that to be really, really fun.
Yeah, if I was gonna gamble, it would be it'd be like blackjack or probably blackjack. Yeah, that's my game.
All right, well, let's go. MGM Northfield tomorrow. You and me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. You drive.
I'll be there.
I'll lose all my money.
Let's go. We'll see. We'll be able to see how fast we can lose our money.
No. That's my. No. I need my money to pay bills.
I know, so do I. But
when you,
hey, what are you gonna do?
Self-control.
Take it with you when you pass away.
You gotta stop yourself sometimes. So you have a place to live.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah,
I suppose.
It's nice to have a roof and a car.
I am not the one to talk about stuff like that with, because I'll make you go to the poorhouse in 5 minutes.
No, it's fine. Don't worry.
That's just how
iron will. You're not gonna get me.
I'm not gonna change you, huh?
No. I'm smarter than that. I know that I'm bad with money.
Okay. Hey, breaking news today from the NFL. Talk about money. Talk about hitting the jackpot. From the NFL, Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers have reached an agreement on a contract extension that will pay Brock Purdy over the next 5 years $265 million. That's a contract extension. Here's a guy from Iowa State. Go Cyclones. Hello, Coach Campbell. Hope you're doing well. Pride of Mount Union. 5 years for $265 million for Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, I believe he was Mr. Irrelevant as far as the draft, or one of the last few people picked in the NFL draft. Those kind of guys don't even make rosters. They're usually booted off the team within 2 weeks of training camp. Brock Purdy worked and found his way into the starting lineup with San Francisco. Remember they had that big with Trey Lance. They were trying to figure out what to do, and Jimmy Garoppolo. And, well, look who came out the other end. Looking real good. Brock Purdy. So he's the man. He's the main dude now in Frisco. Contract extension, 5 years, $265 million. Congratulations, young man. You get picked that low in the NFL draft. Not only do you make the team, you get playing time, you start, and now you've earned yourself a humongous contract extension. Let me see here. My private school math, that shakes out to 550. What about 56 million dollars a year?
Oh no, how do you do that math? Let's test your private school math against my public school math.
God, I have no idea. Actually, if I was smart, I would just turn the calculator on my phone and do it that way.
No, this is way more fun.
But 5 years of $265 million. And I bet he got a sweet deal on like guaranteed money. You know what I mean? There are no, Deshaun Watson, but there are really, that whole thing is starting to change about, there will be no guaranteed contracts in the NFL. Well, if you know how to play the game and work the system a little bit as far as bonus money, different ways you can handle that contract. Good for Brock Purdy and good for San Francisco. That's a pretty good organization. I used to love it back in the 80s. And of course, I was a big Cowboys fan. 80s and 90s, they had some great battles. But I always thought that, and look, Eddie DeBartolo, I'm sure he did things in a way that probably bucked the rules a little bit. Okay. I'm sure there was a lot of stuff going on behind the proverbial curtain that we didn't know. But I thought Eddie DeBartolo was one of the greatest owners in the history of the NFL. His players loved playing for him. The people in the organization loved working for him, whether they up on the 13th floor or they were down in the mailroom. They loved working for Eddie D. So I think the Niners is a pretty cool organization. So I'm happy and good for Brock Purdy. That's really cool. Wow. Can you imagine somebody coming to you with a piece of paper and it says, I, Samuel Bourquin of sound mind, blah, 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 blah. And you go down to the blank line there and it says contract 5 years, $265 million. And all you got to do is just sign your name on the dotted line. My fingers and hands would be trembling. I would probably break the pen in half.
That is a license to gamble for me, Sam.
See?
See, if I had
you keep going back to this. I think you
$265
want to go gamble, man. The way you're going back here.
No,
I
only want to go gamble if I have a large amount of money.
Well, so let's just say you had $265 million over 5 years.
Oh yeah.
What would be your vice, your game of choice? Would it be blackjack?
It would be blackjack, probably.
Okay.
I've always wanted to play a little bit of roulette, just because
I love roulette.
It's basically nonsense, so it's just chance.
Right.
I love it.
It's all nonsense at the end of the day. But
it's like bet on red. Okay.
Bet on red. Bet on even. Bet on odd.
That was
bet on a number.
Roulette,
and there you go.
Perplexed me as a child. I was like, "How does this game work?"
Ooh, as a child,
yeah,
says roulette.
Oh yeah, my dad had a Super Nintendo game that was called Vegas Stakes. I love that game. It's just blackjack, poker, Texas Hold'em, slot machines.
Wow,
mm-hmm.
we're gonna make a gambler out of this guy yet.
That was deep seated indeed. Deep in me.
25 minutes after the hour. We'll take a break and come back. 330-821-1310. Hey, don't forget, on the other side here, on this day in sports history, don't go away.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Possibilities are all around us. Everywhere we look, we see opportunity in unexpected places. And when we share our knowledge, vision, and connections, we turn great ideas into action in communities all around the world that we call home. Like to feed hungry children, or providing life-saving equipment to those who need it most. From fighting disease to rebuilding schools, together we can make real change happen. We're Rotary. We are people of action. Get involved today at rotary.org/action.
Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show. It is that time for On This Day in Sports History. And on this day, pretty apropos, 1869, the Cincinnati Reds actually played their first baseball game. On this day in 1939, cool little tidbit here, the Philadelphia A's and the Cleveland Indians met at Schreiber Park in Philadelphia for the first baseball game to be played under the lights in the American League. 1954, Ted Williams, the splendid splinter, got 8 hits in his first game, a doubleheader, back after breaking his collarbone. How does that happen? 1965, Jim Palmer of the Baltimore Orioles made his Major League pitching debut. Back in 1972, the Bull, Greg Luzinski, hit a home run in which the ball actually hit the Liberty Bell Monument in Philadelphia's Veterans Stadium. On this day in 1979, the National League approved the sale of the Astros from Ford Motors to John McMullen for $19 million. On this day in 1985, Michael Jordan was named the NBA Rookie of the Year. On this day in 1994, Jennifer Capriati, remember her? Great tennis player. She was arrested on charges of possession of marijuana. And on this day in 2003, the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim beat the Minnesota Wild. The win advanced the Mighty Ducks to the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time in franchise history.
Now, the latest area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:30. President Trump claims that a nuclear deal with Iran is imminent and that a proposal from the U.S. is on the table. Trump made the comments today on Air Force One following his three-nation Mideast tour. More from ABC's Karen Travers, who is traveling with the president.
The president didn't give specifics to explain his optimism or details about what the proposal is that he said today the Iranians have from the United States. His special envoy, Steve Witkoff, has been leading these conversations. There have been 4 rounds of indirect talks between the United States and Iran in recent weeks. The last one happened on Sunday in Oman. It's not clear yet when the next one would take place, but the president expressing optimism that they're getting close.
11 inmates at the main prison facility in New Orleans have escaped, and officials are urging the public to be vigilant. Inmates escaped from the Orleans Justice Center, and that facility is on lockdown. Happened around 8:30 this morning when, during a routine head count, prison guards noticed the inmates missing. Officials say one was recaptured. The rest remain at large. Authorities say they should be considered armed and dangerous. At least one of the inmates has been charged with attempted murder. Republican infighting is threatening the GOP's plan to make the Trump tax cuts permanent and impose significant changes to Medicaid and other safety net programs. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has the latest from Washington.
Several Republicans say the big, beautiful bill still needs work. 5 of them voted against advancing the measure in the House Budget Committee. South Carolina's Ralph Norman says it doesn't cut enough.
I'm tired of smoking mirrors.
Further complicating matters for House Speaker Mike Johnson, GOP moderates opposed the bill, saying it doesn't do enough to restore the state and local tax deduction. Facing a self-imposed Memorial Day deadline for passage in the House, Johnson will need to achieve near unanimity in his conference to get the measure into the Senate. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Train engineers in New Jersey's huge commuter rail system are on strike, leaving its 350,000 daily riders either working from home or seeking other means to transit the state or cross the Hudson River into New York City. People who normally rely on New Jersey Transit took to buses, cars, taxis, and boats for the morning rush hour today after trains ground to a halt at a minute past midnight. Some left early to avoid problems. A few, unaware that the strike was underway, showed up and waited for trains that weren't going to arrive. Early indications were that the strike hadn't resulted in major traffic jams or long lines to get on buses. Today's rail commute is typically the lightest of the week. It's 76 degrees and Alliance at 5:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Meteorologist Mark Johnson has the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Okay, not a lot of rain for your Friday afternoon. By late afternoon, could be a couple of storms. Otherwise, sunshine, a high warm, muggy 83. Overnight, scattered storms are likely. If you're going out and about, grab the umbrella. Our low in the lower 60s. I am Art J. Weather. Have a great Friday.
I want you to imagine for a moment you're in a hospital. You are the patient connected to an IV bag. There's a constant parade of serious doctors. Countless tests, endless pokes, and a serious diagnosis. Scary surgeries are followed by painful recoveries. You're in the hospital for days, weeks, months. Now imagine experiencing all of these things and you're only a child. This is why Starlight exists, to bring happiness to hospitalized children through programs that help kids cope, build resilience, bolster confidence, and change their outlook. Programs like gaming, virtual reality headsets, toy deliveries, radio flyer wagons, and cozy hospital gowns are just a few of the ways Starlight eases a child's hospital stay. Because happiness matters. Visit starlight.org to learn more.
This place has a pulse. You hear it in the canopy, feel it in the ground. Life, fully illuminated, engulfs you. From the birds singing in the treetops above to the tiniest insects in the soil below, you take a deep, cleansing breath, filling your lungs with the essence of the forest. Now, imagine it's all gone. Healthy, life-giving forests reduced to nothing. No singing birds, no lush canopy, and water and food in short supply around the world. Time is running out to protect our forests, and without our love, they can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our forests. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back, everybody, on this Feel Good Friday, a fill-in-the-blank Friday here on the show. Our fill-in-the-blank Friday question today is, if you had $1 for every time you lost your blank, you would be rich. What do you always seem to lose, misplace, forget about, leave behind? A lot of great answers today. A lot of people losing their mind. A lot of people losing their car keys, their cell phones.
I'll tell you what,
their wallets.
My friend's wife loses phones like they're going out of style. She probably goes through like 5-6 phones a year. It's hilarious.
Your phones?
Phones, yeah.
A year?
Uh-huh. Because they'll go to like a concert and be having a good time and,
Yeah. Things happen at concerts. I know.
Yep.
So
they go to a lot of concerts.
I'm anxious to get your thoughts out there. 330-821-1310. What do you lose or misplace the most? And you just sit there and you go, son of a gun, I can't believe I did it again. But it happens, folks. Don't be embarrassed. We've all been there. What do you seem to lose and misplace the most? What do you say? 83. Did I just say 83? 831-1310. Put a 330 in front of it. Have we gotten past the having to use the area code before you give a number, or is it still like people feel they have to do that?
I mean, that guy called in from Iowa, so
yeah,
probably wouldn't hurt, especially if we're online. I mean, it's at the bottom of the screen if you need it, but
I just when you go to a store or maybe you sign up for something or people are asking for information, your name, your address, your phone number. And I just feel like, why do I still have to say 330? And I know there's 330, there's 234, there's 440, 216, but we're in the 330. And I just I just wanted to give you my, I just want to give you my 7 digits. I don't feel like I have to just keep throwing that area code out there. Because when I was growing up, it was boom, 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 boom. That was it.
That's
and
fair.
I still remember the first phone number I ever had as a child at home on the old landline on the phone on the wall in the kitchen. Now, I'm sure somebody has the number now, and I'm sure if you put a 330 or 216 in front of it, and please don't call this number. Somebody will, but don't call it. But I remember my number from, heck, probably when I was 3-4 years old, because we had the same number until we moved from our original house that was on. Excuse me, I take that back. We were in a townhouse. We had the same number there. We moved to a house, which was basically 3/4 of a mile down the road, and we were able to keep our same number there. But I remember that plain as day. 452-2626. I mean, I'll never forget that. That's just what our numbers were. But man, I don't remember even how many like cell phone numbers I've had over the years. Whether it's been a lost phone, you change carriers.
Yep.
You want a different number because it's quote unquote easier for you to remember.
Yep.
Those kind of things. Because I over the last 10, 15 years, you'll run into a situation, whether it's a doctor's office or tax work, whatever. Do you still have this cell phone number? Blah, blah, blah. Nope, that was from 2004. Well, how about this? Nope, that was 2011. Well, what is your cell phone number? And I'll give it to them. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, put that in your pocket and hold on to it. But yeah, I remember when we used to call a number to get the time and temperature. Think about that. Think about that for a minute. You didn't know the time or temperature, so you called a number and somebody told you what it was. People were thinking, are you out of your mind? Nope. That's how it happened back then. Hey, call the number and see what the temperature is.
That's what we call a throwback, Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time and temperature. My mom said, call the time and temperature. Now, I forget what that number was, but we used to call it all the time. And here was the funny thing. When there was severe weather, especially in the winter, and boy, we got some winters back in the day, the blizzard of 77, the blizzard of 78, we had some crazy stuff. When you would try and call to get the temperature and the wind chill, you got a busy signal. You know why? Because everybody and their mother was calling that same number. They wanted to know what the temperature was, and they wanted to know what the wind chill factor was. And I used to click, and it would go on for hours. And I finally I'm giving up. I'm like, Mom, Dad, whip out your cell phones and do it that way. Oh no, we didn't have those. Yeah, call the time and temperature. The temperature is. Then it was really bad. They would actually give you the wind chill. And I remember calling. It must have been 77, maybe it was 78. And during the blizzard, I actually was able to get through. And I was just a little whippersnapper. I was like 7, maybe 8 years old. And I remember the wind chill. She was like, the time is 2:44. Temperature 2. Wind chill -43. I mean, it was just like, are you kidding me right now? It was so bad. It was so bad. Guardians, by the way, have taken a quick 3-0. I'm sorry. Here we go with reading things backwards again. The Reds lead the Guardians 3-0 in the bottom of the third. Tanner Bybee is getting torched right now. 1 1/3 innings for Tanner. 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 2 strikeouts, and no walks. And guess who did the damage? Former Guardian Will Benson hits a 3-run home run to right field. Imagine that. Reds 3, Guardians 0, bottom of the second at the Great American Ballpark down there in Cincinnati. Don't forget, coming up next week, matter of fact, on Monday, we have to nail down a time, but I'm gonna work that out on Sunday. Former Massillon Tiger stud baseball player, former Kent State University stud baseball player, and now in the Colorado Rockies organization, and he is moving right up the ladder. The sweet swinging Aiden Longwell will join us here on the Sam Bourquin Show on Monday. Next Wednesday, one of our special guests already booked and handled, my good buddy Todd Blackledge from NBC Sports. He'll be joining us to talk about the landscape of college football, maybe where we're headed there in the next 5, 10, 15 years. We'll take a look at some of the top teams and some of the shifting in the world of college football. So Todd Blackledge will join us next Wednesday. That'll be in the 5 o'clock hour here on 1310 WDPN. Reds and the Guardians will play tomorrow night, 6:40. They will play at 1:40 on Sunday. We got the big Preakness race coming up from Pimlico in the Baltimore area tomorrow. Only 9 horses in that race. So we'll see what happens there. NBA playoffs continue tonight. Celtics and the Knicks. For me, this is a must-win for New York. They lead the series 3-2. I'm telling you right now, if they lose tonight and they go back to Boston for a Game 7, they're not getting out of there alive. The New York Knicks have to win this evening. They're about a 2.5 point favorite last time I checked. And unless you've been living under a rock, you know that Jason Tatum tore his Achilles tendon and he is done. But you still have, what's the old line by Rudy Tomjanovich? Never underestimate the heart of a champion. The Boston Celtics are still the champions until they aren't. They've got Jaylen Brown. They've got Kristaps Porzingis. They got the old guy, Al Horford. They got Pritchard. They got some guys. They've got heart. They're going to go out and play. If they beat the New York Knicks tonight, I think they will win the series. And they will have done it without Jason Tatum, and they will have come back from a 3-1 deficit. But that is I tell you what, if I could pick a place to be tonight about 8 o'clock, it would be Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. That's where I would be. That's where I would be tonight. I might even tune that game in tonight. I'm not going to watch all of it. But I by the end of the third quarter, fourth quarter, I'm going to be dialed in. There's this game on. I bet it's on ESPN tonight. Yeah, I knew it. Well, Mike Breen will be doing the call, so that's not too bad. I want to watch that game. I think Jalen Brunson and Jaylen Brown. I think it might be one of those games for the ages. I'm not picking a winner, but I think New York has to win tonight if they're going to win the series. You imagine the atmosphere there tonight. The Garden is going to be rocking. Celebrity Row is going to be rocking. They're all going to be there tonight. Spike Lee is going to be out of his mind on the floor tonight. And all the celebs, all the great entertainers. MSG is the place to be tonight. Hopefully it's a good game. I don't want to see a blowout either way. Vegas is telling us that this should be a very close game. Knicks minus the 2.5. The total is 211.5. Reds have put another one on the board now. They lead the Guardians 4-0 as we go to the top of the third inning down in Cincinnati. People have been asking, hey, what happened to Mount Union baseball today? Well, they had a tough loss. Catholic University beat the Purple Raiders 11-10. So Mount will play in a loser's bracket game tomorrow at Rayfield Rogers Field over on the campus of the University of Mount Union. So we'll give you a little, that's the latest update there. All right, we're coming up on 5:48 on your fill-in-the-blank Friday here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Phone lines are open, 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. We'll take a break. We'll come back and start to close things up on a beautiful Friday here in the Carnation City and all over Northeast Ohio. Sam Bourquin with you. Hope you're doing well. 1310 WDPN.
I think we can all agree. Over the last few years, things have gotten weird. weird, confusing, and at times pretty scary.
And for our kids, these things can be overwhelmingly stressful.
And can increase the risk for mental health problems as they grow.
But there's so much hope.
Scientific research and real-life experience
tell us that the number one antidote to stress is authentic, trusted relationships.
So that's why I.
That's why I.
That's why we.
That's why I am committed to building and maintaining a trusted space.
For the students I influence every single day.
Until schools across the country
can proudly call ourselves a trusted space.
This is 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 a trusted space.
Access free films and resources to build trusted spaces in your schools and communities at atrustedspace.org.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel you attract people who tend to be compulsive or abusive?
Do you have money problems because of someone else's drinking?
Are you afraid or embarrassed to bring your friends home?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
More than half of all adults have a family history of alcoholism.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Possibilities are all around us. We see potential in unexpected places. And when we share our knowledge, vision, and connections, we turn great ideas into action. Together, we can make real change happen. We're Rotary. We are people of action. Get involved today at rotary.org/action.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back in the home stretch. We got about 9 minutes until we get to the top of the hour. A couple of quick things I wanted to bring up. Did you guys see, you ladies see, a bill has been introduced to legislature to prohibit Ohio State and other state schools from playing most of their home games before 3:30 in the afternoon. Under the terms of the proposal by Republican Tex Fisher, games including at least one state school and games including top 10 teams would be prohibited from starting earlier than mid-afternoon with one exception. That exception would be, of course, the Ohio State-Michigan game. So I'm thinking, okay, who has the time to sit around and draft up a bill? Seriously. The bill comes amidst such consternation among Buckeye fans because of the media rights groups with Fox and Big Ten. Now, the network gets the pick of the conference top game every weekend. So Fox could say, hey, Buckeyes, we want you at noon. Michigan, we want you at noon, so on and so forth. And then, the next biggest game or games can be picked up by the Big Ten network. So last year, just as an example, the Buckeyes played 7 of their 12 regular season games were at noon, a part of the big noon on Fox. 6 of those games were at home, especially the big ones against Penn State, Indiana, and Michigan. And people were just spitting fire, especially people in Columbus, the people that go to the games. Now, obviously, when you start at noon, that doesn't give you a full day to get all liquored up and hydrated before the game. If you're playing at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, that gives you time to fully take in the full tailgate experience. And I get it. I understand that. But this is basically why they're complaining. It cuts down on the tailgating time. But people are mad, man. I know a lot of people up here that have season tickets that go down every Saturday. And it's like, man, what happened to the 3:30 games? What happened to some of the 8 o'clock games? 7 of the 12 were at noon last year. And as long as you're Ohio State, I take that back. As long as you are the Ohio State, you're the engine, you're the brand, you're the monster. That's not changing. Fox isn't going to wake up one day and say, you know what? The TV ratings are too good. We'll just let you play at 3:30 today. I hate to say it, Buckeye fans, but you're going to be watching a lot of games at high noon the next several years. Matter of fact, Fox, in my mind, and I think the numbers tell us, they've kind of taken over and starting to dominate the Saturday college football scene. You know what I mean? It used to be ESPN Game Day, Fowler, Herbie, Coach Corso. Now they've kind of, changed things around over the years with the talent and different things. Going to different campuses, doing different shows. I think it's kind of tempered a little bit. Matter of fact, I could be wrong. I thought I saw a story where all of the ESPN game days this year were going to be in studio. Unless that was some kind of an April Fool's joke, but I thought I saw that. But Fox's Big Noon, man, they're doing very well with the ratings, and Ohio State is carrying them so far. So we'll see. I don't know. Here's my deal. Because I'm doing Mount Union, I love when Ohio State plays at night. Purple Raiders usually play at 1:30. Okay. And it's usually 3.5 hours, so I'm out of the stadium by 5. So if it's a noon game, I don't get to see any of it. If it's 3:30, I can probably catch the second half. But if it's in prime time, I can watch the whole game, and that's kind of cool. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes. Yesterday, again, I meant to touch on this. Was the anniversary of Lenny Barker's perfect game. You remember May 15th, 1981, down at the old Municipal Stadium. Indians beat the Blue Jays 7-0. The line scored 3-7-0 for the Tribe. No runs, no hits, 3 errors for the Blue Jays. Just over 7,100 in attendance. I was going back and looking at the box score. I want to see who the umpires were. Richie Garcia was at home plate. Greg Kosk was at first. Don Denkinger was at second. And Jim McKeon was at third. I remember every single one of those umpires. Every one of them. I couldn't name you a handful of umpires that are doing it today. But I thought it'd be cool to kind of dig up some audio here on the radio call with Herb Score and Nev Chandler, and then the TV call was with Joe Tate and Bruce Drennan. Okay? So I thought we'd have a little fun here. We're going to play the radio call for you first of Lenny Barker's perfect game back in the day. Here was Herbie's score.
Here it comes. Fly ball center field. Manning coming on. He's there. He catches it. Len Barker has pitched the no-hitter. A perfect game for Len Barker. And the stands erupt. The players go out. Len Barker being surrounded on the field. He has made baseball history here tonight.
So there was Herb's score. And Nev would chime in a little bit later, but it was a really long cut, so we kind of cut it right there. But the game was also live that night on Channel 43. And Joe Tate and Bruce Drennan were on the call. Here's how it sounded May 15th, 1981 on Channel 43 with the legendary Joe Tate on the call.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Fly ball, center field. Manning is there. Got it! A perfect game for Lenny Barker.
Fireworks in the background, 7,100. I mean, they were going nuts. People were running around on the dugout. They were high-fiving, throwing hot chocolate up in the air. People were actually storming the field after the game. I mean, you didn't really need security at Municipal Stadium back then because nobody went to the games. But this night, they had 7,000. It was a Friday night. Look, they only drew on Friday nights and Saturday afternoons at the stadium back then because the Indians they just weren't very good. But Large Lenny threw the perfect game. First one in Indians history. No, first one in Cleveland Municipal Stadium history. And that was pretty cool. Looking back at the old box score, the Indians were 16-8 at that point in the year. The Blue Jays were 10-22. Luis Leal was the losing pitcher, and of course Lenny Barker picked up the win. But that's a good box score to go back and look at. Rick Manning, George Orta, Mike Hargrove, Andre Thornton, Ron Hassey, Toby Hara, Joe Charbonneau, Dwayne Kuiper, and Tommy Verizor were the 9 guys that played in that game for the Tribe. That was good. That was fun stuff. All right. It's about that time. Uncle Phil is warming up in the background. Thanks to my producer extraordinaire, Ryan Rainsberg. Thanks to all the callers, emailers, texters, and commenters on all of our outstanding social media platforms. But, of course, most of all, thank you for listening, everybody. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Sam Bourquin saying so long. Go Bucks, go Browns, go Guards, go Cavs. Good night.